everybody.
It is your boy Ryan Gott.
It's your boy AZ. I don't know what that was.
You are listening or watching Turtle Soup, the internet named the world's only community support podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the TMNT all the way from the very beginning. So I find an appropriate scale in which to measure April O'Neil's awkwardness during her Oprah Winfrey appearance in 1990. At first, I thought it was best expressed in like newtons or kilonewtons. Then I thought joules.
Okay.
Watts, terawatts.
Right.
Megawatts. And now I'm just thinking about, is there a way to measure an awkward glare out to God? Going like, well, this is my job today, God.
Right.
Because that is the look she mainly has. And I think that might be the key to scientifically measuring the awkwardness.
I think you're in the ballpark, but
like there's something in that glare that she does that makes you think like that's the key to measuring that.
Right. And but thankfully it's still, you might be close, but I don't think you'll ever get it. So the podcast is in no danger of
No. It's probably just a straight up unknowable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what is a couple things we have that are certainly knowable, that are quantifiable, is number one, we are live on YouTube, so please be sure to subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell icon to get notifications when we go live and post other videos, including the awesome episode trailers that Eric is now doing for each episode, which have been much to my delight. And if you want to go the extra mile, sharing the stream on social media, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, Facebook, while we're live helps people know we're live, and it helps other people get into the show. So we really appreciate that. The other knowable includes a subset of two knowables. Mm-hmm. And they are the patrons, the frontline patrons that have brought this episode to your ears, or eyes, or both. And those patrons today are Melissa O'Donnell Hall and Andy Costello. You know what I'm saying?
Woo.
Those are two prime, known, quantified individuals.
Indeed.
Who help this show be a thing.
Right.
And help stop the Foot Clan from destroying the podcast.
Absolutely.
And if you were ever so inclined or John inclined to help us out with that, you can always go to Patreon and check out Turtle Soup Show podcast. We've been making that podcast and help us out and get access to a lot of other really cool stuff.
Absolutely.
So that is what's going on.
Indeed.
So for longtime Turtletarians, normally this is the area where we would get into our own personal stuff, but we have a bunch of emails and voicemails, so we are just going to skip that part right now. And I'll just suffice to say that the frogs have been quiet.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, before we talk about the frogs, can we talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight on the show?
That is true. You know what it is? I overshot the email segment because
there's so many.
Realized that I had not opened the emails yet, like the actual on my browser. So I was like,
right.
And emails, and then if I say the frogs are quiet, then Eric will talk, and then I'll get the emails up, and I won't look so stupid. But now I've used that gaffe to open the emails myself now.
And there you go. Well,
so what are we covering today, Eric?
Well, Ryan. Well, what we're covering today, we're still in the bag of tricks. We're going to be there for a couple more episodes, but we're
digging down to the very bottom. There's a couple things clinking around in the bottom of our bag of tricks right now.
This is that moment where you realize that you have like a couple of actual like dollar bills in your couch, kind of, or your sack of tricks, or whatever the case may be. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, but tonight this one's a treat. I think a lot of people probably are aware of at least one of these, but not to the extent that it gets to. And thankfully, that's our job, is to get down to it.
You may have seen clips of how awkward this gets, but trust me,
you have no idea.
Your dedicated men on the journey have subjected ourselves to the full 45 minutes.
Absolutely.
And have made plenty of notes to break down with you.
Indeed. And so tonight's journey, we are going to be going all the way back to 1990. And we're going to be covering the TMNT appearance the TMNT live appearance on both the Oprah Winfrey Show and Live with Regis and Kathie Lee. So
yes.
yeah, that's both like
there's a lot to say.
There's a lot to say. So we're gonna save it. So because we have emails.
Yes.
So here we go. You ready?
We do.
Where you want to start?
So I know right where I'm gonna start.
Okay.
It's where we left off. Last episode and several episodes before. Jono, if you're listening, baby bird, open that mouth.
We gonna feed you.
To be fed. You know what I'm saying?
We
were picking up an email from our excellent Turtletarian and correspondent Jono, who dropped an email earlier that started a really good conversation. Actually, a conversation that Eric and I had wished we had the foresight to maybe make into its own YouTube video about why people collect toys and stuff like that.
Might.
And just a little back behind the curtain too, as emails go. We haven't instituted this yet, so we'll let you know when we do this. That way, you guys kind of understand what happens with emails that come into the show, maybe that don't get read. One thing that we've talked about doing, and we'd love to hear your opinions on it. You can always email us at the hotline, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. Let us know what you think, or anywhere else. Is we've considered the idea that some of these emails, right, that you guys write in, that have like pretty involved questions in them, that we can really like dig into. It was always a little awkward. We talked about doing bonus episodes, the No Homework Zone on those, but that's a little awkward because like sometimes the emails that come in aren't from patrons. So it's like, well, I mean, you wouldn't get to hear your email, and like, that's annoying. And everyone else gets to hear the response, but you can't. That's kind of horseshit. And we're just talking about that. So, but with our YouTube thing, we were talking about making some of these emails into like viewer email segments, like videos, or potentially videos unto themselves if a good discussion gets going.
Right.
So we're not doing that yet, but if you do notice that, like, say you send a pretty lengthy email with some like crunchy stuff in it and you don't hear it on the show, a potential reason why is that we could be holding it for like a future thing, to get to crunch through that. You know what I'm saying? Like specialize.
And likewise, the same thing with the Turtles Come Out and Fight That. Where we got some plans brewing, so we're writing them down. And if things fall apart, if things like if we decide we don't like it, or y'all even tell us that no, just keep it, or whatever we decide to do, if it ends up not coming to fruition, we'll still bring them back in another way, so we haven't lost them. But so just
sure, like. And of course, like obviously, if you just want to send an email, like with a funny story or what's up, like that's going to get on the show. But like if it's like a more involved, like, why do we do these things, kind of like, or like a dims the rules, or a deep Turtles Come Out and Fight That, we might start being like, well, I think we do want to try to pilot some of these as their own things, where we can really focus on them, not worry about like the time of how long the show's running and like all that stuff like that. We can actually give it the time it needs.
Indeed.
So so this probably should have been one of our pilot ones of these, but Jono, that didn't happen. We just actually forgot about your email, because we were trying to get the live show off the ground, and we were like, what's an email?
Right.
What's an email? And then all of a sudden it was just like, it's not happening. But now it is. So this is the second question that Jono asks. So question 2, to follow up on my last question, which was about why people collect toys, like, and a theory that Jono had that maybe like people say it's for nostalgia when they really are having a hard time admitting that they actually just like toys as an adult because they're toys.
Right.
Like they just like them on the shelf. They like to play with them. They like the cool colors. They like the cool figures. They like toys like they did when they were kids.
Right.
But now people say, well, it's for the investment. No, well, it's for the, like adult reasons to do the same thing. And he wasn't entirely convinced that was always true. And it's a very interesting take, and one that I definitely could see myself subscribing to. I think there's a non-zero chance that people collect toys for reasons other than the reasons that they always state.
Right.
So to follow up on that question, I wanted to ask, what are your greatest memories of the properties you love? He says, for me, and then he's got TMNT. I remember going in to a news agent's. See, that's when you know. That's when you know it's in England. A news agent's, and stapled to the cover of one of the comics was a mini comic of the TMNT. I think it was to advertise the cartoon and the UK run of comics. I hadn't heard of the TMNT before, and so flicking through that comic and seeing the ooze transforming the turtles into the TMNT had me hooked, especially seeing them with their weapons, etc. Man, writing this has made me even made me remember the artwork. Epic. I bought that comic. It was hooked as soon as the cartoon / comics came out. he's got a couple memories from Transformers, which were one, getting Optimus Prime and Megatron 1 year after Christmas.
Nice.
Sorry, 1 year for Christmas, not after Christmas. That'd be kind of
Right.
awkward. Like
Yeah,
1 year
like
after
a whole
Christmas.
year. Like that's
Look,
probably next
we
Christmas.
found Megatron. Like, oh shit! Like, I mean, that would be. I mean, that could blow a kid out if a present from yester Christmas like showed up somehow. Kind of get blown out. But then threatening to leave home as you do at age 5, and I had a bag packed with nothing but wind charger in it. As soon as I discovered eBay, I got myself a wind charger, which
there
is
you go.
which
Yep,
is
that's what you
pretty
do.
Great.
That's what you do.
So that's one of the things my kids never did, but yeah, I definitely remember like having that impulse of like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hit the road because man, my family doesn't understand me. I'm gonna hit the road with my like, oh god, I used to know the name of this. I used to literally know the name. Name. What's the sack that like the hobo carries? There's a name for that.
There's a name for that.
It's not just like a hobo sack. There's a name for it. It's like a Pickaninny sack or something. There's like a name for that.
We have a farmer that should be giving us this answer, but he's not listening right now for some reason. But
true. No,
I'm just gonna let you know that right now I'm typing hobo sack into Google. So if anything happens, that's just what caused it.
Hey, you know what? If we see you blush, we know you found the right page or the wrong page, depending. You know, really,
you're gonna kick yourself because
your point of view.
Right? You know this. You know this. Starts with a B. Starts with a B, ends with an E.
What?
Close. Bindle.
A damn bindle. That's the name of it. It has its own weird name.
It does.
Yes, a bindle. So you pack yourself a bindle like you're gonna be like on the road. Like an actual hobo, and you do only put kid things in it. Like it's always like, well, I gotta have one walkie-talkie, so I can talk to people.
Of course.
I gotta, even though it won't talk to anything else but the other walkie-talkie, and not even across the house.
Right.
I've got to have some batteries for my toys, and then like 3 toys, none of which have batteries, and you're like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is my plan.
Well, so
wind charger's pretty great though. To have a bindle with just that in it is pretty great.
Another thing on the bindle thing, apparently bindle stiff was another name for a hobo who carried a bindle. So yeah, I'm going to be referring to hobos as bindle stiffs from now on. So
I wonder how long it's going to be before hipster culture gets into bindles.
It seems like it should have already happened.
It really feels like, I mean, they're already all the way they already dress like they're from like the Civil War, the American Civil War. Like they already dress like that anyway. Like
right.
There was I don't know if it was a page or just a meme that was this game that was like hipster or Civil War veteran. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And they actually take pictures of like Civil War people during downtime and then hipsters during downtime, and they blur them both out where they're roughly the same quality of photo, and it's actually really hard to tell which one's which. Because like the one I swore was an actual, like, it was a dude with like one boot off, like drying his socked foot next to like an iron stove in like a cabin, and I was like,
goodness.
And he had the weird mustache, and like I'm like, that has to be, and no, it's a hipster.
Nope,
I was like,
hipster.
you got to be kidding me! Who dries their sock next to an ironwood stove in like a cabin?
Yeah.
Like that has to be a Civil War cat.
You would think.
And then he says, for really fast, because you're
okay.
in this one,
right,
for He-Man, I remember being really ill and having to be collected from school, by my mom. On the way home, we called into a supermarket, and she bought me a He-Man figure. It was Rio Blast.
Oh, nice.
So what are some of your top like pinned memories from the properties that you love? Like ones that you're just like, oh, I remember the hell out of that, like it was yesterday.
So let's see. I don't have that many from when I was a kid. I remember the Christmas when I got the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Diplodocus from Dino Riders, and that was awesome.
Oh, that's near and dear.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember getting just an ungodly amount of the Toy Biz X-Men Marvel toys, like just like I remember it being one of those things where like my sister asked for something that was more expensive, but I asked for just $300 $5 toys, and my mom got me every single one of them because it's balanced. And yeah, so that made Christmas very awkward. But in adult, or I guess I was an adult. When Masters came back in 2000X, 2003 to whatever it is, I went into Toys R Us to get my cousin Dalton, who was like, which this makes me feel old as hell. I think he was turning like 6 or 7 or something like that. Get him a Marvel.
That kid's getting married.
Now he's getting married
soon.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's
no,
fine.
just it's all right.
Fine. I'm not old as shit. It's cool.
No, but was getting him a Marvel Legends figure, and I turned the corner and I saw the Masters, the Four Horsemen's 2000X line, and I'm like, what? I didn't know about this. This is amazing. Yeah. And I bought every one of them, and I went home and showed my mom, and I was like all about it, and she was like, that's cool. When are you getting married? And I'm like, not for another 20 years or something. But anyway, but Turtles related, I do remember it's not really a bad memory, but it's that thing where you're a good steward of your friends and your friends' toy collections. Maybe not altruistically, but because you know that, like, if you go to their house, they're going to have something there, and your mom is wanting to know what they want. So you say, well, they want that Ace Duck figure, or they want that Rat King figure. You don't have it yet, but you know that if they get it, then you got it, kind of thing. And yeah. So I have those memories of buying my friends' toys that I would inevitably play with. And then I remember I was dating a girl at the time that the 2003 Turtles came out, and which was a good year for toys. That was a good time. Especially for nostalgia stuff. Yeah. So, but we were in Walmart here in town, and it was around my birthday, and I saw all 4 Turtles, and she was like, "Do you want them?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so she got them for me for my birthday, and I was like, "That's legit."
Aww.
So that was cool, and I still got them. So, yeah, those are some.
We went home and made out so hard that night.
You know it. So with the toys, of course.
Oh, I mean, of course.
Yeah, I mean.
Leave the toys on.
Right.
Is what Eric said.
Yeah. Let them watch. But yeah, those are my toy memories.
Oh, no. You know your boy Eric turned around all 4 of those turtles before the making out even started.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, oh, Mikey, shield your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So I have some memories. I remember I was unhealthily obsessed with Silverhawks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't get over how cool that shit was.
Yeah.
The toys and the cartoon. It was like and I grew up on like G.I. Joe, Motu, all Thundercats, all the good stuff. But Silverhawks, for some reason, just really blew my mind. I couldn't get over it. Like the TMNT for me was always a slow burn. Like I was always into the TMNT from like the first second I saw it. And I can't even remember. I think it had to be the cartoon was the first time I heard about TMNT. And I remember seeing it had to be from that first season because I remember seeing the episode where they go to the Technodrome, like at the episode 5.
Oh, the 3-hour death fall to the Technodrome.
Like, yes, either like recorded that on VHS or something because I had it and I watched it a lot. But like those were slow burns. Those were my ride or dies. They were just in my heart. Like that Thundercats, G.I. Joe were like just in my heart always. You know what I'm saying? Transformers, Optimus, I got my Rodimus going on. You know what I'm saying? My boy Rodimus. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about hashtag Rodimus Prime. And I was down, but they were ones that would burn like an ember in my heart, like that would like catch my like just catch me.
Right.
Silverhawks was that. They were all vac metal. The toys were vac metal. I could not get over the shit. I could not get over it. The blue one absolutely kicked my ass. I remember getting it home from the store. We went to Kmart or something, and I pulled that old like, "Hey mom, can I get this?" Thinking like it's not even allowance time. It's not even like whatever. And my mom just goes like, "Sure," and I was like. So I spent the whole time I put it in the cart, but I was like kind of like had one hand on the cart, like looking at it the whole time, like, as like his little silver body, like blue silver body, kind of like the lights went past it. I'm like, oh my god.
Right.
Then my mom put it in the bag and like put it in the trunk, and I just sit there like nice, being all nice, like. Hey. I got home and I laid in bed and I opened it up and I held it above my head like he was flying. I think until I went to sleep that night. I don't think I did anything else. I was
that's awesome.
Obsessed. Another one is Thundercats. This is really early. This is. I could have been 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I had a gigantic Lion-O, like the 12-inch Lion-O, like the big ass one.
Yeah.
And the thing that he had going on, his big deal was he had the Smurf hair. I recall. I might be wrong in that, but I think he did.
The Smurf hair.
One thing I definitely remember.
Smurf hair.
Yeah, like
a Smurf.
Not Smurf hair. Troll hair.
Troll hair. Yeah.
Troll hair. Like like
rooted,
once again,
rooted hair.
Rooted hair. I may be Smurf hair. It was that Smurfette talk from earlier.
That's what it was.
On the hashtag pregame Smurf
right.
talk. But I got kind of blown out. And like I said, I might be forgetting the rooted hair. Maybe he didn't have rooted hair, but I remember it.
I don't recall having that. But
one thing I know about him though is that his eyes would light up.
Absolutely.
I know totally that he had some kind of like of the light window cell thing or something in his head where his eyes would light up. Anyway, I had to have him to get in the bathtub. It was a non-negotiable part of getting in the bathtub was I had to have Lino. No jokes, no bullshit. No, like at the time, like
okay.
How long goes the story? Oh, about a couple years ago.
Yeah.
My wife got real mad, but no, I had to have Lino to go in the bath.
Yeah,
and it was a non-starter. The idea of getting in the bath without Lino. So Mom, you got to get in the bath. Well, I'm not telling my mom like why. I'm crying, but I am right. Yeah. But in my head, I'm like, you should obviously know I can't find Lino.
Right.
And I'm not going to get in the bath, but you're going to get mad. And it's that feeling when you're really little of like being trapped. Like no matter what I do, I'm wrong. Basically,
right.
Like no matter what I do, I'm in trouble.
You're in a catch-22.
You start losing you start losing your shit. Like you can't. So I'm like, I'm freaked out, whatever. And by the time the tears finally, and I look all over my room, all over the bathroom, all over the living room, and the tears are just running. And my mom's like, Ryan, just tell me, like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, it should be obvious to you, woman. I can't find Lino, and I got to get in the bath. Obviously, that's why I'm freaking out. Just help me look for Lino instead of asking me fucking questions. That's like what's going on in my head. And I finally get the choke sobs down enough to get the words out that I can't find Lino. And she dead ass goes, look in your hand.
No.
And I look down and I've got Lino, 12-inch Lino in a death grip. I mean, my knuckles are white.
Right.
And I stare down. It was like a magic trick. I look down like.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this story before. Yeah, that's nuts.
It was like my mom just put him in my hand with magic.
Moms have
magic. Honestly, I was so thankful to have Lino. I didn't even look into the mystery much farther. I just got in the bath. But that memory of being like so lost about it, and then her being like, what? And then after like 30 minutes, look in your hand.
Right.
That was, that's one of my biggest memories of Thundercats, actually.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I have a lot of good memories. I mean, it's hard. A lot of my TMNT memories are obviously tied up in the show. Like I remember like digesting the first like good handful of issues of like that gold era of Mirage, like with Eric, like in person on a show, and being like, this is exactly where I want to be. Is like breaking down these badass and indie comics like with my boy, like on a show. It was just great. So a lot of my TMNT memories are ripped forward to the present. Although I do remember, if you had the turtle blimp, you could go screw yourself, because my parents wouldn't get it for me, and if you had it, you were a pampered rich kid and go screw yourself.
I had it, so that was me. But which I had a lot of good memories of that.
Pampered rich kid, go screw yourself.
Thank you. I will. But you mentioned our memories with the show, and you know what? It kind of warms my heart a little bit knowing that like there are a lot of listeners that have been with us for a while, that some of their memory, like they're gonna have memories of us like going through the stuff with them, and that kind of makes me feel good. Also kind of makes me feel bad knowing that some of the stuff that we've said as we've grown and had our own personal journey as podcasters and as people, I'm kind of like thinking about some of those older episodes, and I'm like, goodness. But you know what? That's what being human is growing and learning from your mistakes.
That's what it is.
And
that's what it is. Just like you're speaking. We're about to get into some music talk really fast to just email out. And much like your favorite band, Imagine Dragons, we're only human after all. You know, I think it's true. The words you were searching for.
That is true.
So he says, finally, obviously you guys are into music. My 4-year-old is named Julian, named after the lead singer of The Strokes. I think your wife Shannon would appreciate that.
She definitely would.
And my 1-year-old is he says is called Mia. So I don't know if like that's just like her actual name or if like you just call
yeah.
her Mia. That's obviously after like MIA,
yeah.
Mia from the aughts. And then of course he says, my wife wouldn't let me call them partners in crime because that'd be badass.
Yeah. Oh, that would be.
Like,
But
can you imagine like two kids born that like didn't have individual names? They were only ever referred to as a pair, as one phrase.
like if you named your kids Peanut Butter and Jelly, kind of like that.
Yeah, but one is not peanut butter and one is not jelly.
Interesting.
Collectively, they are peanut butter and jelly, and you cannot address them individually.
Right.
Like so in this example, the two kids are named. I mean, and they're 3 years apart in Jono's case, so that's awkward. They're both named partners in crime. That's their name.
Oh.
And if you ever have like one of them that's like around, like let's say Julian's around, and like Mia's somewhere else, you can't refer to Julian in any other way than when his sister's there, and he's like, well, he said, yeah, his sister's there, and you're like, partners in crime. Like, you address them only together.
Now he's talking about the partners in crime from the Turtles soundtrack, right?
Oh yes, it's spelled like crime is Kryme. Like it's partners in crime.
Good, because it took me a second because I had to rack my brain for like knowledge to wonder if like MIA and Julian dated and if they were called the partners in crime. Because I didn't read I don't see the emails. I usually wait till the show to see them, and that kind of was like weird me out. But yeah, no, the TMNT soundtrack partners in crime. That's amazing. Yeah.
I mean that you gotta watch out because partners in crime. They'll write a song about a different turtle's a leader. You know, they don't give a shit.
They don't care.
If they wrote a song about you, they'd be like, Eric is a lawyer. You're like, what? And like, you would be one. Like, you'd be like,
all of a sudden,
true.
Yep.
Yeah. Ryan is homeless, and like all of a sudden, I'd be like,
Ryan's a bindle stiff.
I'm a bindle stiff. All of a sudden, and then I look at my mom. I'm like, Mom. She's like, Ryan, look in your hand, and I've got the bindle. Like, I'm like, no, you know, like, Anyway, he asked, what are your thoughts on the Strokes and Mia?
Okay.
That's about it for now, gents. Hope you guys are keeping well. Peace, Jono. The Strokes' first record's good. There's a thing that happened in New York when the Strokes were happening, and this is going to sound so pretentious, so please excuse me, Jono, and everybody else who likes the Strokes. At that time, there was the Strokes and there were Liars. Okay? Those were two bands. They were like real hot in New York. You were either a Strokes fan, you could like both, but you were either a bigger fan of the Strokes or a bigger fan of Liars. I was on the Liars side of that hot New York scene.
Yeah.
So I took a right off, you know, like that meme with like the car like taking the exit like really fast, like like going off, like there was like that interstate sign would say Liars, turn right, and I'd be like like
right.
So I didn't follow the Strokes down past on the interstate. I took the Liars exit. Okay. But I like the Strokes' first record. I think it's pretty goddamn classic. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
What do you? I mean, obviously, I don't know. I know Shannon really likes the Strokes a lot, but I don't know about you.
She does. She listened to an audiobook that was a lot about the Strokes, but I think it also dealt with Karen O from Yeah Yeah Yeahs and a couple other people from that time and that scene. And if you are a pretentious music fan like we kind of tend to be, even though we don't want to be, the natural enemy to that mindset is listening to getting what do we call it? Getting context, getting the frame, getting the backstory of this. You don't ever want to do that, because as soon as you do, it's gonna hardline you. You're either gonna be, I absolutely hate them now, or it's like, all right, I actually do I see where they're coming from and I like them. And thankfully, and I always want to like things. I want to be the optimist, and I want to be the person who's like, I can find something in anything. And thankfully that documentary, or not documentary, what is it? Whatever she was listening to, that biography or whatever it was.
Yes. Kind
of got me into them a little bit, to where I was like, okay, let me revisit, and I appreciate them a lot more now than I ever did. I thought I didn't like them back in their day, or if they came on, I was like, okay, it's not really offensive and it's not really bothering me.
One thing, Jono, you have to understand about Eric and I, and Eric a little less so, but me definitely, we both suffer from this. We came from the punk rock scene, where at the time it wasn't necessarily super like cool to like a lot of music that wasn't punk. Like we did, right? Like we did. Yeah. Like when I was in the punk scene, I listened to industrial or whatever. but anything that had gotten trendy like on the radio, like
That's
I don't know what it was, but there's this feeling of like, look, like I'm into all these bands that are in like vans running around, like you know what I mean, like grind and making it happen. And the minute a band gets on the radio, there's this feeling of like, all right, well, like they're good,
yeah,
like you know what I mean, like they're doing
Yeah.
their thing. Like I don't need to like support that band. Like that
Right.
band's just fine now. You know what I
Right.
mean? But we would continue like buying like indie punk band CDs. And you
Mm-hmm.
look back and some of that's true, but some of that's just scenester bullshit.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think kind of wrapping around kind of where you went with that, there's a lot of music and a lot of bands I go back to now that I realize I was just too in my scenester shit at the time. And I go back now and I'm like, yeah, no, the reason I didn't probably carry on with the Strokes was probably because of scenester shit.
Yeah.
Because I listen to stuff that they did and I like it. I think that they're really talented, obviously, and they've had a hell of a career. But I don't know why. Something about Liars got me. If you haven't listened to Liars,
They're good.
they're fantastic. And something about their weirdness had me get off on that exit. As for like Mia, I have almost no experience with Mia. I never really listened to her. Most of my knowledge of music from the aughts came from Blender magazine, which I read religiously, and they would constantly interview Mia and talk to Mia, and Mia sounded cool as shit, but I just never listened to her music.
Right.
I remember like on her interviews, like she was like amazing. I was always like, God, she sounds cool as shit, but I never made the distance to listening to it. But you know what, Jono, I think I am gonna listen to some Mia, and that way we can kind of like I can bridge some of that gap. I think that's the resolution I've made today.
I remember her being on MTV and stuff because I think at that point in time, my parents had finally. I was still at the end of my time living with them. They had finally gotten cable again, so I would just have MTV on, and I remember hearing her songs, and they weren't like I didn't like them or hate them necessarily, but I think. By that I mean I just didn't change it. I didn't be like, oh, I wasn't repulsed by it. So so I remember thinking what she was doing was neat. I don't think I ever spent any actual time with her though. And so but like you're saying though, if y'all want to send music recommendations our way or anything you want our thoughts on, we love that stuff. So all day. So just let us know at the hotline. But yeah. So thanks, Jono. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jono. We hope you that meal, wasn't too delayed. So next up, we have a voicemail from John Klein, and this one's also a little belated because it was originally sent for 250, and guess what? We missed it.
Right. So I'm gonna.
What? Now it's here.
Now it's here. So I'm double checking everything. Everything should be good to go. Yeah, and here we go.
Hey Ryan, Eric is your Montana correspondents, John and
Walker.
And we just want to say congratulations to episode 250 and to 251 episodes. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Yes.
Nice.
Plus it tends to illegal.
Oh, okay. Bye guys. Here's to another 250.
Oh, thank you guys. That was super
Yeah,
sweet.
thanks. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like, you realize how long things have gone. Like, Walker sounds way older than Walker's first voicemail appearances were like Goo Goo Gaga.
Right.
Like John had him on Day and Date. So like Walker now talking like got them full words. I'm like, Walker, what's up, dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's up. But we super appreciate that once again. Sorry for not getting that into 250, but the technical consideration of saying 251 episodes. It rings your boy true.
Oh, yeah.
I love that episode 0 tuck in, that extra one episode. I'm all about that. But thanks a lot, guys. Again, John and Walker have always been huge supporters of the show, so we appreciate it. Our last email is from Noah, and he's got some info. Your boy Noah Overton. By the way, I have a message I need to send Noah.
Oh, that's right.
Noah, if you're listening, you know what it's in response to. It was some pregame show business. I am down to clown, and I will be sending you such confirmation. So that's going to happen after the show. But yeah. So here we go. This is called some Casey Mask info from Noah Overton.
All right.
What's up, daddies? Wanted to drop a note to let you know how much I'm enjoying the new level of soup. The pre-show has some old school corn stream feel to it, and it is awesome. Also, thanks for how we sees it shout out, and can't wait to have either or both of you as a guest host for that Rocky Horror episode. That's what I'm gonna message you about in a little bit. I just apparently needed a week to wrap my head around the fact that would I be? I mean, can I actually like be on your show about Rocky Horror? Just because I was like, man, I gotta make sure I don't like burst out. Like I gotta make sure that like I'm not too much Ryan on that thing. So now that I put myself through a little too Ryan, but now I put myself through the paces, I'm obviously very excited about that. And I obviously when I didn't mean to invite myself on your show, but you know, now that you've invited me, you know what I'm saying? Like we might have to get that going.
Like a vampire.
No, I don't. You know what I mean? Like so he says. So here's some info. Being a hockey goalie myself, I want to help drop some info on the Casey Jones mask and what odd mask they had in the live show. Casey Jones in the comics wears a mask similar to the first goalie masks worn in the NHL by Jacob Plante of the Montreal Canadiens. He first wore this in a game in November 1st, 1959, after taking a shot to the face in the first period of the game. Ooh. He refused to go back in the game without it. Because he started to wear the mask, a lot of other players and fans questioned his dedication and bravery to play goalie. It was thought that the mask would interfere with his vision. Wearing a mask pretty much became standard for most goalies, and by 1969, only one goaltender did not play with a mask. It was not until 1974 that the last goalie stopped playing without a face mask. The mask that Casey is wearing in the live show, and he's referring to the
Getting Down in Your Town.
The Getting Down in Your Town that we covered last week, the Six Flags attraction, where we were very disturbed by his mask. The mask Casey is wearing in the live show is more like the mask that came after Jacques' mask. The newer masks were added to add more coverage to the sides of the face and the head. The mask that character Jason Voorhees wears is based off of Gary Cheever's mask, which was the first painted goalie mask, where he added stitch marks on the mask after every game where he was hitting the mask by a puck or stick. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, that's
sick. That's some of that knowledge. That's some of that knowledge. You know that's that fuel. You know what I'm saying? Like for your boy Ryan. Like I love that knowledge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So hopefully that was some cool information for the rest of the Turtletarians to enjoy. So keep it real, keep it coming, and else time from your Northern California correspondent, Noah. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, Noah. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. The mask definitely looked like a proto mask. Mm-hmm. Like that's definitely what Noah's kind of confirmed is that like there was an evolution stage of masks after Jacques kind of got that going.
Right.
Where like it was like, why don't we just wrap this thing around my face? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, okay, like that looks kind of weird. But there's still the question of that black thing he had behind the mask.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on there.
That's that weirdness. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thanks again, Noah. Noah. I listened to How He Sees It the other day. I listened to the How He Sees It on Snowpiercer.
Oh goodness, Snowpiercer.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Although it's funny, they get into a lot of the same kind of like getting down the weeds kind of conversations you and I get about like that you and I get into about like a lot of stuff and like politics and social commentary involved with things and whatever. And it was one of those conversations where like it's really good, but also a little maddening because it's so good you want to get involved. Like I'm sitting here listening to this, like I'm playing Kerbal Space Program, listening to that show, and I'm like, I want in this fucking conversation so bad. Like it was like killing me. I was like, oh, I have something to say.
Right.
Pick me.
Instead, you're that meme of that kid sitting next to the advertisement of people enjoying ice cream. And
that's effectively what I'm like. Yeah, and they're all like, like that's totally where I was. I was on the other side of the podcast curtain this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, How He Sees It is a good show, so you should definitely check that out. And no, I'll be in touch. That is emails.
All right.
That's it.
Man.
Cool.
We did it.
It's over.
It is over.
Bye, guys.
So yeah, we're done. We're done.
Else time.
No, Ryan, wait. Ryan, we got more. We got more stuff. There's more soup. There's more stuff in the bowl. Ryan! Hey! You're back.
Look in your hand.
Oh my God, you were here the whole time.
No, what? There's me in there. No. Yeah, so yeah, it's weird because you're opening this.
Am I? Or
So
we
bring
doing...
the content, Oprah.
Oh, we're starting with Oprah? I was thinking we were going to start with Regis and Kathie, but I guess we're going to...
Oh, you got me twisted. We can start with Regis.
Do you want to... Because I feel like that one's shorter, and it's like, that way it's not...
Sure.
I don't know, but if you want to do... It's up to you. It's freestyle.
Yeah. You know, if we want to have the appetizer before the main course, that's fine with me.
That's what I felt like.
Let's have a little desserty afterwards. Okay.
Now...
So the first thing... Good.
Oh, sorry. I was just going
to... You gave me the open, then you just... Well...
I did because I didn't know how long.
You're like April O'Neil trying to get that last little one in before the commercial break on Oprah, which we'll talk about. That's basically what you just did to me. But go ahead.
That's true, but that's only because I was trying to give you time to get your notes and stuff because I had thrown you a fastball.
I got him up.
So now you got him up. So what I was going to say is insignificant. So I want to hear what you got to say about Regis and Kathie.
Regis and Kathie. So this one's pretty short. This is from 1990. This is all this and the following Oprah Winfrey appearance. Both took place in 1990 ahead of the Coming Out of Their Shells tour. So this was right before the show premiered in New York at Radio City Music Hall, and it's live with Regis and Kathie. So it's very short. And this is basically what happens. A little bit of background. Obviously, a lot of you may remember Regis and Kathie. I guess if you are some of our international listeners, you may not be as familiar. But Regis Philbin had been on the air on TV in some way or another since the 60s, and was one of the last of the lineage of just old personalities who I'm obviously like I'm really actually like obsessed with, like the old school television personalities,
right?
Like the guys that used to go on the Late Show and just sit, and the whole thing was they were just a character. Like they would act and they had some comedy, but that was about it.
Right.
Regis was like a little younger for those guys. There were some guys that were older than him.
Yeah.
But like he was of that ilk. So this guy had like a thick like Northeast accent, and he could just talk about anything. And
do you know who are some of the other people that can you think of anybody else that was like that? Like it was Ed McMahon, somebody that was like that. Is that somebody?
Yes, Ed McMahon, Johnny Carson, Lucille Ball.
Oh, okay.
Rip Van Winkle.
Okay.
Like I mean, just name them. Like anybody that was a recurring Red Buttons. Anybody who was there were just a whole league of characters. Like Frank Sinatra put that hat on for a while. He just hung out with Carson and would just be on the third seat away from Carson, just ripping on people. You had and Regis got his start being the sidekick to a at the time well-known dude doing that. And the whole gig was the whole thing was that the dude would just pick on Regis.
Oh,
well, one day Regis gets hears tell that the producers like aren't happy with his output.
Yeah.
So he goes out on the show. This is like 1960s live TV and quits on air. Like,
oh my goodness,
look, I don't want to be a bother to anybody. He kind of makes a joke out of it. He's like, I don't want to be a bother to anybody or whatever. So like, I'm just going to walk away and let Jack Bennington, wherever his name was, just do his own thing. And he left. And he was brought back by popular demand.
That's amazing.
And came back like 5 or 6 days later. Then way later in like his like biography, like in like 2008, he revealed that whole thing was just a stunt planned by him and the main show host.
Really?
Because they both didn't like the way that the producers were talking about Regis Philbin. So
that's awesome.
They basically arranged this, but then like decades later revealed that like it was just the whole thing was a stunt.
Man.
So a bunch of these characters. Like and Regis is definitely one of the kind of the last in the lineage. That would obviously be carried on by guys like Ryan Seacrest, who currently hosts live.
Oh yeah.
With Kelly Ripa, you know, currently. But anyway, Regis and Kathie, man, they were the 90s. Like everyone watched them.
Oh yeah.
Regis also in 2008 broke the Guinness Book of World Records record for being the human with the most television time.
Oh my goodness, I've never thought about that.
On camera time. Regis has had the most at the time. I don't know if he maintains the record, but in 2008 he took the record.
Wow.
At something like 15,800 hours on live television.
That's crazy.
And specifically live television record.
Right.
So you've been on air that long. So anyway, this is a quick little stop by at the show in New York. And it opens with April O'Neil, played here by Sherry Renee Scott, who is the same April O'Neil, obviously, we get in Coming Out of Their Shells.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes on with the hard sell.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's kind of quick, and Regis only has time to be like, yeah, so like, what's with these turtles? And she's like, well, actually, it's a show about pizza power and how they wrote Pizza Power, and it's a show about like not doing drugs and not fighting people, but actually doing music instead. And like she just runs the cell, and that's when your girl Sherry gets a little. Can you go back to the previous image? I feel like the jury needs to see that stare.
Right. Yeah.
She looks above the head of the person she's talking to and just gets very loud about the turtles.
Right.
That's something that she does. You'll see a lot more as she squirms in front of the hot lights of the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Yeah.
But now we get a mini preview of the stare above your head and pray to God that this will be over. That's at least the feeling I got. But she is definitely here, and Eric pointed this out in his notes as well for this. She's definitely here as she's the advocate. She's the human who's going to talk about them, because you got to remember the turtles, like their Coots personality is nonstop hype and weird jokes and yelling and hyping people up while they're talking to you. Like, there's no straight answers from them ever. And she, I guess they know this, so they're like, April, you go out and talk.
Right.
Because when the turtles get there, it's going to be like, yeah, dude, yeah, look, like, so we're in New York, yeah, and we're trying to make a show. What's up, people? What? Like, you can't get a word in edgewise with those guys.
Yeah, like, did you notice that as well? And we might have talked about this on the last episode, but it felt like Raph and Mike, which are the two main vocalists, or just not even just singers, even though they are, I think, the main singers. They're the mouthpieces of the Turtles in this particular iteration, and on these two, especially these two, but I think even on the Getting Down in Your Town, they're caricatures of the caricature of themselves. I feel like, and to the extreme, and so much.
It's really intense. It's
okay.
I think it's even actually more intense here and on Oprah, as we'll see later, than it is during Coots.
Yeah.
Like in between songs and Coots, because I think that's scripted. This is not scripted. Right. This is like them freestyling, and it gets real aggressive.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
like,
wild.
And you can see that Regis and Kathie are professionals.
Yeah.
But Regis has this attitude the whole time. The whole time. Regis has this like, well, this is some horse shit, but I'm a professional, so I'll be here. Like, feeling like you can literally like, and once again, not to deprive our podcast listeners, but you really should watch the video on YouTube because you get to see images. That face Regis has, don't worry, you don't need to watch the video. That's the face he has the whole time. The face of like, okay, what's next in this horse and dog and pony show? Like, that's the look.
Right. Yeah.
And
he's just
Kathie is just holding on.
Oh yeah.
Kathie's just a little behind Regis.
Right.
Like, if I stand behind you, will you protect me from this?
Right.
Is what her body language.
Now, they could be scared, actually. They could be scared of the turtles because I don't know what I'd do if I saw this in real life.
They're intense. I don't know how loud they were in real life. Like, do you know what I mean? Because they obviously have microphones on, and you could tell by the audio, like the way that it is, that those also served as like their lav mics, like for the show. Like, so they were wired in, and on Oprah as well. They were wired into like Oprah or Regis and Kelly's like actual Regis and Kathie, sorry, their actual soundboard. So I don't know how loud they were in their in-ears or whatever, but those guys are loud.
Yeah, yeah, because they're selling it too.
They're an agent of chaos a little bit, and when they come back, so we're all right. So we'll move on. So effectively, the Turtles come out and they play coming out of our shells, and it's kind of interesting how like they have their choreography pretty down because it's the same rough choreography you get on Coots actually.
Yeah.
So they have that going. Once again, the main difference from Coots here and with the Oprah Winfrey appearance is that they obviously don't have a drum kit.
Right.
So you have like Raph alternately like basically playing drums on like a pad of sorts, and then sometimes like Donnie appearing to play drums on the keyboard. It's very odd.
But here in this one, they don't play anything. This is just them singing. Like on
oh, that's right.
Yeah,
they
on
don't.
Regis.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about Oprah.
You're thinking about Oprah.
Oprah made a much bigger impact on me. Oprah was
and rightfully so.
Is still in my head rent free right now. But so they come out and they sing coming out of our shells, and then and April introduces them one by one as they come through like to the mics. It's very awkward, doesn't time out well. And the same thing happens when the Turtles rush Regis and Kathie. And there is a weird attempt to have them shake the hands of each person in a weird row. This ends with Leo and Donnie, the two actors that are clearly not like gonna lead the conversation, winding up in front of Mikey and Raph, the actors that do lead the conversation, which means they have to shuffle backwards. This sets up an awkward high three attempt from Donnie with Regis and Kathie. Where Kathie makes the remark, you can get into trouble depending on which fingers you use.
Yes.
Because Regis, as we can see here, illustrates something that looks more akin to Salt Bae than a high five, with an awkward number of fingers, never quite three.
Never
either
quite three.
4 or 5, but twisted.
Now, do you think that, like, so I thought about this a little bit more than I should have.
Sure.
Now, handshakes are awkward as hell anyway, especially post-COVID. Like it's going to be even more awkward. But you see the Ninja Turtles, you think, okay, these are ninjas. Like their hands are going to be probably pretty strong. They can break bricks with their hands, generally speaking, and stereotypically speaking, I should say. But if you're going to high five them or high three them, this is just a word of advice, and this is my own personal take. This is a hot take of mine. So if you disagree, let me know, and if listeners, you write in and let us know how you would handle it. My thought is that now I don't know if I do it in real time, but if I had the time to think about it, I would do the live long and prosper. And then you just extend the thumb
and add it,
and there you go,
and add it.
And that's it.
That gives you the most like reinforcement on each of those digits.
Precisely. That way you're not jamming any fingers, which is horrible. And
Regis has his pinky pointed straight into Donnie, like you're gonna stub his pinky if you actually high threed him.
Yeah, like his coke nail is gonna slice you.
Yeah, Regis's form is not great. It doesn't help that Regis is still wearing the suit that would belong to a 1940s mob boss, full triple breast at the time, which makes him look more like David Byrne from Talking Heads, and less like a modern talk show host. But I guess it was 1990.
That's true.
So his form does not cut a very svelte figure while attempting the high three with a pinky pointed straight into Don's palm. But I digress. So the best thing is, first Regis makes a joke about how he doesn't know which one's talking because they're all doing the thing where they just lambast you with the dude, bro, oh my god, and like they're all doing it. And he's like, I don't know who's talking to me.
Right.
He says it in a nicer way, but you can tell that he's a little bit like, I don't know what's happening. This is very disorganized, and I hate this. And then he kind of goes on like so he does that, and then April asks Michelangelo to teach Regis their insignia.
Yeah, this is weird, and it's something they keep doing. It's kind of like something you would see like Uncle Jesse do on like Full House. It's I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Or no, the Fonz.
I don't understand why the use of the insignia.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But it's this.
That sounds like something that would be from a current like anime, where you'd be like, "Oh, bro, he went into his insignia," and you're like, "What are you talking about?" You're like, "Oh, it's some power he does." You're like, "Oh, yeah, no, that's anime."
Right. Well,
like I don't understand.
When I think of insignia, I think of like a like Prince's when he changed his name to that sign, that symbol. I think
Oh, for sure. No,
that
yes,
is like
a
an
symbol,
insignia.
like is
No,
an insignia for sure.
But I guess you could say like
Your initials stitched onto a handkerchief or in a watermark could be an insignia as well.
right, but it's more, but in the
a
context
logo?
of writing something, like that's what I'm thinking that's where my mind goes with insignia. I guess Zorro's Z, when he cuts the Z in you.
Yeah.
That's an insignia.
Can you can you take me full frame for the viewers so I can show them the insignia?
I'll try. Let's see. Your camera's a little off,
Is
so
that gonna break the internet?
It might break the internet. I'm gonna get you there. I'm like a prayer a little bit. And speaking of that,
I want to show y'all the insignia from my best.
Okay,
ability with
yeah.
headphones on.
This is the show's not scripted, guys. This is all just like off the cuff. Okay,
No,
give me
I'm just testing the works.
Okay,
You know what
here
I'm
we go.
saying?
I'm gonna go to you and let's see if it works. All right, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And it's that's their insignia. And yeah. Yeah, so it's the Popeye thing and then it's the slick back for the hair. There you go.
And then the finger guns.
Yeah.
Very important. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that.
No problem.
That was educational.
Yeah.
We are going to sing some more educational albums soon. If you remember that drop. But yeah. So that's the insignia. Regis does the version of it. It's better that children don't see it.
Right.
So after that, Kathie Lee asks the average age of the kids that attend their shows. Raph responds anywhere from 3 to 4, all the way to 17 or 18.
Right.
I doubt that.
Yeah, no.
I don't know about 17.
I don't know about
like,
that.
Like
18, yes, but 17.
Look. Like when we covered Getting Down in Your Town, okay, like I told y'all, I gave y'all that confession that that first song, Getting Down in Your Town, when those kids are all hyped, boy got like a lump in his throat. I understand as a father how awesome it is, like, and how super into this kids were at the time. I get all that. And it's a really magical thing. It's actually kind of ridiculously badass that as much as we might make fun of this, that like if you were 4, 5, 6, 7, this was like, oh my God, like the world's falling apart. I'm so fucking happy about this. I totally get that, but I don't think 17-year-olds were doing that at the time.
I don't think so
that's
either.
Just me.
There
was a lot in 1990. There was a lot of grunge trouble to get into, and most I feel like most kids were either getting into grunge trouble or the beginnings of gangster rap trouble. Like there was a lot of East Side, West Side trouble to get into, or a lot of grunge trouble to get into around this era. And not to mention excellent death metal trouble to get into. Oh, yeah. I feel like there was every cool genre of music trouble. And if you're nasty, some Janet trouble to get into, some Miss Jackson trouble to get into. So I don't know about that. But yeah, Regis asks if they still live in the sewer, even though they're making tons of money. And the Turtles are just like, it's not all about money, man.
Right.
And Regis is like, okay, I just asked a question. Like, what is 30 more seconds? Okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But it's funny that this is another thing that another famous interviewer has doubled down on. Because Bad Barbara.
He gets Bad Barbara on this one.
Yeah.
Starts talking about the money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, what about the money?
Yeah, and it's interesting because as a kid you don't think anything really of it, but as an adult you're like, oh, that's all they're concerned about. And it's interesting to think that. And I have this stigma, and this goes to some of, or maybe not stigma. Stigma is maybe not the right word, but this well, maybe it is the right word. One way or the other.
Maybe Steakums is the right word.
There's a Steakums about it where
There's a Steakums about like money and.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the thing where sorry, some obnoxious person is driving by and everything in my house is rattling. So anyway,
Prax.
Yeah. So this thing where your interest, whatever it is not validated or not, of merit unless it brings in money. And if it does, then that's cool.
Oh,
if it doesn't, then you can piss off. And if
it's not making money, it's not making sense to them.
Yeah, if it isn't making dollars, it isn't making sense. Right.
It isn't making sense.
And so amazing and thank you .bandcamp.com. Yeah, check that out.
Those links on turtlesoup.com.
Right. So but I thought that was interesting. That it always goes back to the money. Now
it always goes back to the money. If they ain't make dollars, it ain't making sense. You know what I'm saying? That's where Regis comes from. But then Regis goes ahead and just wrong touches.
Yeah.
One of the turtles asking Mikey if his front shell is bulletproof.
Yeah.
To which ain't good.
Ain't
and
good.
Then he tells Regis to back off. And I'm like,
well, it was weird that he grabbed him below the belt though. The shell that hung below the belt.
That was touching weird. Wasn't cool.
Yeah, why did Regis have to go that low?
The bad touch. Yeah, the bad touch on live TV. That's questionable.
Yeah.
And Regis does back off.
Yeah, he
does. Because he's like, we're good. Okay, bye. And as Eric noted, I will spout this out as if because I absolutely feel the same way.
Yeah.
That on this video on YouTube, unfortunately, the video cuts off right before the next segment, the moms of New Kids on the Block, which I was like, oh, that's a hit.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yes.
Yeah. Keep
Continue.
going. Because would the turtles have sat on the couch as the first guest, and then the moms would come out as the second guest? Is that how that would work? Because I would 100% watch the moms. I would watch this today, Ryan.
Regis would have quit that show. Regis would have quit that show that instant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Regis would be like, oh, so it's turned into this. I know when I need to leave.
Yeah, he would have been like, I want to be a millionaire, but not that bad. And then just
shoot. No, it's true. But that's the end of it. Like I said, this is available on YouTube for you guys to check out, and it's not very long. But Regis is just all over him. And acting like, man, the things I do for money.
Yeah, it's strange
because it's one thing, that Regis and Kathie at the time, they had every stupid band that came through, every pop group that came through New York came on Regis and Kathie for a minute, and they did talk about the tour and about the songs, and then it was about 2 minutes, and it was bye. They did those promo bits all the time. But this one in particular is just a lot, and I think Regis kind of realizes this turtle mania shit's kind of insane. I was an adult, I'm kind of aware of it, but now they've spilled onto the set of my show, and now I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about this. There's something about watching this collection of videos. I'm really glad when we organize this that you kind of set these together because they are kissing cousins in one way. This and the Oprah Show. It's a very rare opportunity to really sit and focus on the fact that two of the absolute largest names in talk entertainment had to talk to the Turtles from Coots as if they were a real band of turtles who have a cartoon about them who are now on a tour to spread a message of music, not fighting. And they have to actually play it straight. They have to walk straight, is what I'm going to say, about these turtles like they're real people. And that is a very, very interesting thing that
it is, especially
most really big 80s properties did not ever rise to the point of that.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's kind of crazy.
And then you think about the caliber of guests that these two shows entertained.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Just the gamut, like the creme de la creme, you know what I'm saying? And then there's this, they woke up. My favorite thing to think about are people waking up and what do I got to do today? I got to go talk to the Ninja Turtles. And now that
I love the fact that that it could have been going on all week. Like,
Right.
like they're doing like pre-production like every day. They're like, all right, so so Saturday we've got Bon Jovi coming on. We've got Sammy Hagar in the late slot. Sunday morning we have the Turtles, and then Regis is like, the Turtles.
Yeah.
Like, that he has to think about that. Like,
Oh yeah.
we've got former First Lady Linda Carter coming on. Okay, cool. And we've got oh, but no, it's okay. So it's okay. So it's the Turtles.
Right. Yeah.
I love it.
I do too.
I love it.
But the thing, I wrote one last thing about it, and you mentioned it at the beginning, but I just wanted to double down on it. This was right before the show, like right before the tour even started.
Oh yeah.
And
for sure, they're doing their promo work for it. Hands down.
A good friend, longtime friend of the show, Francisco, he had posted in the Turtle Soup group an interview with I think it was Bob Behan. I think I could be mistaken, but one way or the other, it was about like the genesis of coming out of their shells. If you are vaguely interested in this at all, like the behind the scenes and how all of it works, go read that. Go find Turtle Soup group on Facebook and look for Francisco's post and check that out. I forget what news site it was from. It might have been IGN. It might have been some other video game site that kind of delves into entertainment. But one way or the other, it was very insightful and a lot of cool shit in there. So go check that out because it made me appreciate this moment in time where it's like this is right the beginning. And so now what we're gonna do, Ryan? Now we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, probably a couple like 6 months maybe. And we're going to head to the Oprah Winfrey Show. And this takes place, I think Regis and Kathie Lee was in New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
that was
yes,
New York.
Yes.
This Oprah filmed in Chicago. And
of course.
Yeah. Like, so that's kind of a neat, a totally different. Have you ever been to Chicago?
No.
Oh, okay. I've never been either. I've been to Illinois, but it was for a music festival. But I always kind of wanted to go to Chicago. I felt like Chicago is like, it's definitely got its, well, most of my information from it is just derived from like the internet and television and whatnot. But I've always thought it was
we got a man in Chicago.
We do.
You know what
we
I'm
do.
saying?
Exactly.
We don't have to wander the Windy City alone.
That's
you know
true.
What I'm saying?
That's true. We do have a hero out there.
Also, originally, Kolchak the Night Stalker, one of my favorite like little 70s TV shows, took place in Chicago. And, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I would love to go there at some point in time. But the Turtles went there probably around, let's see, when was this? Season 5, which is probably around 1990 of the Oprah Winfrey Show. Now, the Oprah, just a little background. Oprah ran for about, let's see, what was it? 1986, and I didn't realize this. I thought she was still on the air. But she ran from 1986 to 2011. And yeah, if you didn't know, it was an hour-long talk show format and hugely successful. Like the epitome of success. Like
oh yeah, no, like Oprah was a overnight sensation. She was the voice of an entire generation of people.
Right.
Yeah. And the best thing about Oprah is she just got out when it was good and just moved on.
Right. She left when she was on top. So and that's awesome. And she's pretty cool. And so I thought this was really rad that she brought the Turtles on. Like it's very indicative of the like for those who didn't live through it, because I know we have a lot of younger listeners who might not have been alive in the 90s to experience this when we did. But yeah, it was just so like a juggernaut of just like cultural
yes,
phenomenon.
The TMNT on Oprah, you could maybe not get a bigger, at the time at least, a bigger like combination of just like massive like you're saying juggernaut, like 1990 in particular, just juggernauts,
right, of
two things that are household names, combining.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic.
It
like
is
level business.
So so the show opens up with Oprah and she's holding an unboxed pizza that's just, I don't think that is,
I mean, it's technically like it's boxed. They just cut most of the box away. It's just like the bottom of the box,
which
and a weird pizza on it.
It's kind of strange, but nevertheless.
Oh, it's real strange.
Yeah. So she's holding it and she's talking about how the turtles are running late because they turned down the limo that they were offered and said they would find their own way. We cut to the turtles outside in the streets of Chicago, coming out of the manholes, Ryan, and this is amazing. And they're in their full. They're wearing the same costumes from Regis and Kathie, which were the performance costumes of coming out of their show.
The stage costumes for kids,
right?
Yeah,
right. And so they're coming out of the sewers, and we see we see Mike, Raph, and Leo, and then they realize that Donatello is like nowhere to be found. They're like, "Oh snap, we can't find Donnie." So
I mean,
like,
they abandon him audibly. We don't got time for Donnie, man. Then they're like, "Wait, where's Donnie?" I'm like, "You know where he is. You abandoned his ass."
Exactly, and it's kind of superfluous. Like, I don't know why they did this, but
there's a lot going on. Yeah, why they had to have this intro is out there, but yeah,
right. So anyway, they cut to the outside of the studio, and they see that they can't get in. Like they've ran all the way to the Oprah Winfrey Show, and they're banging on the door and stuff. All of a sudden, Donnie just appears out of the sewers. And
yes,
like they then run to the side door, and that happens to be unlocked. But Ryan, before they go inside, they pause to do their insignia. Should we try to do it again?
How about we go full frame on you, and you give it your best shot.
I don't know that I have all of the stuff set up to do me full frame, because I think when we just did it the last time,
you would like to have me dance monkey dance the insignia again for everyone.
I will do it in the little tiny screen if that makes you feel better. So
that doesn't cut it. Give me the full screen.
Well, I got to get okay. Well, I'm not going to talk then, because I don't know if the audio is going to work. But you can dictate what I'm doing this time. Let me see if I can find my.
What kind of show is this shit?
All right, so my background's atrocious, but here we go. I'm gonna try it. So I'm gonna cut to me, and then.
All right. So yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if they can, but I'm gonna narrate. There's Eric. He's got his blue Mew Without You shirt on. And you can see those comfy house shorts on right there below the waist, doing some stretches. You can see his in-home cursive tattoo on his right arm there. So he's gonna. Here it goes. Ready, guys? 3, 2, 1. We got the swirl. We got the hair and the point. That was fine form. That was wrestling promo style. I appreciate that. You swerved that point into a talking to you, Hulk Hogan. A little of that, which I really appreciate.
That was for you. That was for you, and actually a little bit of that was for Brad too. So yeah,
you did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
I loved that.
And
I'm glad. See, you could do it. You could switch yourself over.
I know. I just
have
get
confidence in yourself.
I
have confidence. So before they run in, though, I do want to stop and say that our intrepid heroes do leave a total of 3 manhole covers just dead ass open.
Yes.
And rush into the studio like that's not Kill a Man shit. Right. That is like people have died utterly from falling into open manholes. Just like I'm walking, now I'm dead. That happens to people.
Yes.
And the turtles, if they show that level of safety, of manhole cover etiquette in New York, they've got a body count, is all I'm saying. They've got skeletons in the closet if they're 100%. Leaving them open like that.
Yes.
Straight up.
Thank you.
Why wouldn't they ever put those back? I don't understand. Literally, there's a point in the beginning, I hate to dwell on this, but this is most of what I have to say about this thing. When Mikey gets out of his manhole, and then they're like, "What? Where's Donnie? Where's Donnie?" Right. Where Mikey has to sidestep his manhole.
Yes.
And I'm like, Mikey almost fell in that shit.
Right.
Because they can't see down.
They can't.
The people in the suits can't see down. He barely doesn't just fall in the manhole he left open.
Right.
In real life.
The irony is that if he would have had his shell on, he probably would not have fallen all the way down. Would have stopped him. But they've come out of their shells, Ryan. So herein lies a bigger problem of why they shouldn't be out of their shells. So there's a lot of things wrong here. But thank you for bringing that up.
I mean, I get loving to be a turtle, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
Like,
there's got to be a line somewhere. But
there's a lot of OSHA complaints about all that. But anyway.
yes. Because I don't think that the Oprah Winfrey Show is filmed on a side street in Chicago. It's probably on a busy road.
That's
like a main thing, right?
I want to say, just from like general being alive in the 90s, that's the studio where it was filmed.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like it wasn't very fancy. Like that one where they go outside. It says the Oprah Winfrey Show. It looks kind of old and shitty. Like that's what that building looked like. Like
right.
I guess Oprah would go outside. Do you remember that? Oprah would go out like on that street and like interview people and talk to people and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I think that is the actual outside of her studio.
I guess what I'm saying is that there was gonna be people out there, so we don't see them in this.
Oh,
but it was gonna be there was gonna be foot traffic, so there's no plausible deniability.
And also like the whole time I watch it with them like opening them and stuff, I keep thinking about like all the safety people that have to be all around, like just out of frame, like a guy like whose job is to put the manhole covers back, like right now, like when the director yells cut, he puts them back on, like there's like probably guys from like the city, like city employees out there, like if those guys fall in those sewer entrances, I'm gonna have to go in there,
right?
Like,
and we'll
we had like firemen there. Let's be honest, it was a whole 9 yards. They like. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, speaking of people that were like there to make sure the Turtles were doing what they needed to do, one thing that I found interesting was that once they make it into the like the studio and they get onto the stage and everything, they're working the crowd and getting them hyped and stuff. But Mikey everyone else is like picking up their own instruments off the ground. Michelangelo has his own roadie, and it is presumably
someone's mom.
Yes, so it. Literally, like this looks like it could just
probably,
be someone's mom.
If you're listening and lived anywhere in the central United States, probably your mom.
Probably.
So
there were a lot of moms in the audience, and so honestly, that would be the sweetest thing in the world is if a mom was like seeing that Michelangelo was having trouble.
That would be bad.
And the mom steps up. Oh, I love that. I love it so much.
That would be so sweet. That would be that would like make the video for me.
Oh, 100%. And so but they go on into their first song, which is coming out of their shells or our shells, whatever. And Mikey's mic is hot. Like, and by that that's jargon for it's just on and live.
You hear him ad-libbing and talking much louder than the vocal mix.
Yes, and he yells that he's going to town. So I'm sure that the quality control people for this show and the Turtles themselves were sweating every day because these guys, they do a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. They are excellent at what they're doing. However, it's one of those things that you don't know what they're going to say, and you're just flying off the cuff. Whew, it's scary.
It's so funny how you and I think on the same level. When they were playing that first song and like the mic was hot and he was like, "Come on, guys! Like, yeah, I'm going to town." Like on his solo.
Yeah,
I was like, the pressure these 4 dudes must be under right now has to be monumental.
Yes.
Like, you just ran on stage on the Oprah Winfrey Show after pulling some gag bullshit. You got Oprah dead ass holding a pizza. Like, come on, guys! Like, where you been? And you're like, oh shit! And we're not even gonna come in and say hi. We're gonna come straight into coming out of our shells.
Right.
Like, live. Like,
yep.
The sweat factor had to be like wild.
Oh,
like
entirely.
Yeah.
And so after they play the song, Oprah hoots and hollers. Which could you imagine performing and having Oprah like hoot and holler?
Oprah's like cheering it like the hell out of it.
She's fantastic.
You know, Oprah's got she's got some of that Regis on her. You can kind of tell that every once in a while, Oprah has just a show of a touch of like, is this really happening on my show? Kind of like, is this really a thing? But I got to give her big credit, and we'll talk more about this at the end. But like, just as a frame for as we talk about it more, that she makes almost every attempt to be as into this as she can. Like,
absolutely,
she sells out for it,
and I think she did a great
you really
job.
get a feeling that she sells out for the kids. Like,
that's what it is.
There's a lot of kids in the audience. You see that too. It's almost 50-50 kids and adults, like maybe more kids than adults. Like, and she's shouting and cheering and hollering. You could tell it's for the turtle. It's for the fans. It's for the kids in the audience.
Oh,
it's
entirely.
really cool.
Yes, definitely. So then she shows a clip of the animated series where Mikey is tied up and then a bunch of duplicates appear around him. and they start
the classic thing.
Yeah, dancing. Yeah, it's great. And so then we come back and we have our introductions. So we come back from commercial and Oprah introduces the Turtles. We got Leonardo, the acknowledged leader of the group. We have Michelangelo, the party dude, which both of these hosts, Oprah and Regis, were very emphatic about the dude part of the Turtles. And
yes.
Then we have Raphael, known for his wit, which I thought was an interesting way of phrasing that.
Yeah. Raphael almost passed up by Oprah.
Almost.
Like, she makes a slight mistake here where she's given every turtle, like, it's Leonardo, the acknowledged leader of their group, and she gives them time to go, hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Leonardo, yo. Hey, kids, up. Like, they have a moment. Each one of them shouts for a while before they sit down.
Yeah.
But she tries to blow over Raph, and I actually loved it because she goes, and Raphael, known for his wit, Donatello, like, she doesn't give him the time.
Yeah, she doesn't.
And Raph goes to stand up, and the actor's reaction's like, come on now, how can you not give Raph his time? And I love the way he played off of that. Like, that was an obvious gaffe on Oprah's part.
Oh,
and you can even see Oprah's face.
Yeah.
Oprah goes like, ugh. And it's not like, oh, God damn it, you're so, like I hate you. It's,
right.
How did I get that wrong? You could tell she's like, damn it.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know, Ryan. I have a theory. I have a theory that there's more going on here than Oprah's letting on.
Oh.
I think that there's some history with Oprah, Raph, and there's some future with Oprah and Dawn. I'm just saying, just putting that out there. That could be why she.
these turtles probably. Yeah, this Raph probably doesn't acknowledge the existence of Ninjara in this timeline.
I don't think he does.
He's looking for something.
Yeah. There's no telling, but she blows past him here. She blows past him here to get to Donatello. And we'll see Oprah's relationship with Donatello come out a little bit more than I think she was willing to. I don't think she knew how much the cameras were on them during the show. We'll talk about that as we go along. So then Oprah, like you said, she course corrects, and we have Mr. Fix-It, which
Fix-It.
Yeah, Donatello is a lot more animated in this. Like, he is doing some dances and some moves. Yeah, this actor.
He keeps getting out of his chair, man.
He does. He does.
Your boy Donnie can't stay in his chair. Like, any shot, they have this shot that's like a low angle, kind of meant to go across the turtles' faces, kind of like seated, like level with their faces. And on half those shots, it's Donnie's butt.
Right.
And then Raph, and then like Mikey and Leo. Like, like Raph's ass is in half those, or Donnie's butt, because he can't stay down. He gets up every 2 seconds.
Exactly.
It's wild.
So Oprah, as a professional, she starts off with a couple of softball questions, unlike Big Bad Barbara Walters, who goes for the jugular.
No, unlike that monster.
Yes.
She eases them in.
So she says, what instruments do you play? And Michelangelo comes in with lead vocals and lead guitar, babe, which they say babe quite a bit, which is something that was probably okay back then, or at least like we didn't cringe at it, but now we totally would, or at least I did.
Yeah. Like it's so funny how you can cringe at something like that, but you almost have to like back up a little bit and be like, but yes, Chef, you're like, so was Oprah offended by being called babe on her show in situ? Because I feel like that wasn't as offensive then, or did I just not think it was that offensive because I'm a white dude?
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
Sit there for a long time, like, has time changed, or have I realized how shitty that was?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I can't tell, but yeah, for sure. There's a lot of babe.
There's a lot of
babe quite often.
They do, and I think you can kind of tell that they don't. It's almost as if that caricature that they're playing, of themselves and that lingo, is typified of that, but it almost seems like they try to like cut it before they say it sometimes. Like they feel bad for saying it almost. I don't know, maybe I'm projecting a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But nevertheless, she moves on to Leonardo, who is also a lot more animated on this, or at least more vocal in this one. And he plays the one-string bass guitar, and I quote, Ryan, "When it's time to boogie, you know what I'm saying? It just goes all the way," and he does his hand thing. And yeah, that's a message for the kids. When it's time to boogie, it just goes all the way. Raphael, correct. I found out you can't sing and play the sax at the same time, so I moved to the drums. And yeah, that's true. It's very difficult to play the sax and sing at the same time if you can do it at all. And yeah, so drums are the next obvious choice. Donatello,
and you can't play the sax with your prehensile member. So
that's true. You can't. We found that out last episode. But now Donatello, the audio says I play the synth, but the actual closed caption says he plays the sin. And he's pointing at Oprah. He points at Oprah. I'm telling you, Ryan, there's something.
So what you're saying is this is the first point of contact.
Yes.
He looks at her straight up as a turtle man and says,
yes.
I play the sin.
As a turtle teen.
Yeah.
I play the sin. Doesn't break eye contact.
Then he goes, I'll let you. No, he doesn't break eye contact. He never blinks. I think you're right. I think this was the first like proposition.
Right.
He's like, let me just put this out in the open air.
Right.
For you. And then I was gonna say he sat down, but he doesn't say seated for long.
He doesn't, because he gets right back up. They start talking about how he's like the gearhead, or like the what do they say, gearhead supreme, and he's bragging about how he made their instruments. And Oprah asks how he knew.
Don't you know I made these things?
Right. So she's like, well, how did you know how to do that since you're just a turtle? And she makes like almost as if she was embodying like a child asking that question.
Yeah.
And and it's a justifiable question. I mean, it's like, how did you know? Well, his answer is not really anything of import. He just says that he's the smartest and that he's just into it. So that's how he
I'm just into it.
Yeah, that's how he got that. So then Oprah brings up the cartoon, and she's trying to do this thing where, and I think she knows the answer, Ryan. I think she obviously, she's on television.
No, she
knows.
around.
But like, she brings up the cartoon. She's like, how can you be in both places at once? How can you do the cartoon and be here live? I don't understand. And it's very strange. But then Oprah asks,
oh yeah, the turtles are like, well, I mean, they made a cartoon out of us.
Yeah, that's it.
But the problem is they say that, and then they come in and they're like, but we do our own stunts.
Right. They're adamant
on the cartoon. And so you don't know, like you're left thinking like, okay, sir, is that a joke that you do your own stunts in the cartoon? Because obviously it's a cartoon. You kind of acknowledge that they made a cartoon out of you.
Right.
Or are you trying to now say you're the turtles from the cartoon in real life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't like, they actually crossed it up twice on her ass. I think that's kind of a galaxy brain move.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know.
They crossed her up twice. They were that hard cross, and now she's like,
now she
got
don't
her
know
ankles
what to do.
broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, she'll know which way he's going.
So Oprah then counters with, let's move on. She's trying to get past that crossover, and she's trying to get to Splinter. She's like, so she asks about Splinter, and the turtles respond very strangely here. First, they say that First, they say that he taught them everything that they know. So that means that Splinter taught them how to play music, which I don't think we've ever heard before. I don't think, unless it was in Coots. It might have been in Coots where he explained that. But just from Off the Dome and any other incarnation of Turtles, I don't think they get into that. But nevertheless, that's pretty neat. And second, they say that he's sort of like a father figure, which I don't know. It has me questioning if these are the real turtles, Ryan. I don't. I've got a lot of things I'm like I don't know. And then there's this kid in the audience that's got this mask on. That's amazing.
That's Crooked Ninja Turtle gang right there. But what I would say is like, sometimes my headcanon on this is sometimes like when you're young, you're suddenly propelled into fame. Sometimes like you try to do that whole like, well, I'm just gonna mask the reality of my private life, but you say too much weird shit, and then you just want to. Everyone already knows the truth, but now you sound disrespectful. Like you don't want to talk about how your mom really helped you with like your getting into acting when you're a child star, because you don't want to like talk about your mom and get her like blown up. But then everyone already knows that your mom helped you, so then you want going, yeah, she She was around, but I really just focused on myself and you sound like an asshole.
Right.
She was like, oh, but part of your storyline we just heard on E is that your mom helped you.
Right.
But now now you're out here like, my mom, she's aight, but I just acted my own self. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm gonna say that in my head, that's what the Turtles did here. Like, they got asked about Splinter real fast, and they tried to be like, oh man, like my man's private, like, you know, he like comes out for one song on the show, like we keep him on in the back in the road. He's old, you know, he's kind of like elderly, he's kind of chilling. I want to blow his spot, but they come out sounding like Splinter's a rat, I guess. He is our dad, kind of, and he taught us a lot of stuff, but like, yeah. Next
super
question.
Dismissive.
Is a little how they come out. Like,
absolutely. And the next question is a little bit more of that. Splinter also taught them, and this is probably the biggest takeaway from this question, is that Splinter taught them that if you sing a song with somebody, you make a friend. I think we're evidence of that. You and I, our friendship, we've sang many a song together.
Oh, we did.
And and then if you fight with someone, you make an enemy, which, you know, is the basic theme of this tour to appeal to parents. Like, don't sing, don't fight.
It really is.
Yeah, they're pressing
We're
that hard.
so sorry we had weapons.
Yeah.
We are so sorry that we have a cartoon where we were swinging at shit. I massively apologize with a tour.
Right. And songs about not using said weapons. And we're going to tell your kids to be straight. How about that? Will that make up for it? Will that make up for it, guys?
And we'll tell your kids alternative lifestyles are not cool and you need to walk straight.
Right. No need to mutate. So
yeah. Although I do like the way they kind of handled they get asked about fighting a ton later on, and we'll get into that later, but I do like how they handle some of that, given that their whole proposition is like, hey man, ninja's in our name. Yeah. Like, the second most important thing next to ninja in our name is that we're mutants, so we're not just like little baby turtles that are ninjas, but we're in a little bowl and it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, teenage doesn't matter really.
Not really.
Because they act more like adults a lot of times anyway. Like, they don't have an actual, like, they don't have a curfew. They just do what they want. Yeah. Mutants important because that's why they're remarkable. Right. Ninja, that's huge. And then turtle is like, sure, but I mean, I hate to say this, but like, they could be any other animal. Like, that's true. To kids, like, the ninja is the big part. Right. So, like, trying to launch a tour that's like, yeah, but we don't use that.
Yeah. But it still worked.
That's a hard ask. But but they make it work somehow. They somehow, we'll get into it, but they spin it pretty well.
They do. And speaking of spinning things, they spin into their next song. And sorry, there's more of Oprah talking about how she the whole message is not fighting, right? Like, you're not supposed to fight. But they perform.
That was in the talking points. You can tell that's on the card she has in her hand.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like from the production meeting is like, make sure that this gets out. That the Turtles' message right now is like, don't fight. Yeah. Like, make friends, and like, don't fight unless you absolutely have to.
Right. And they then go into one of their best songs in history, in my opinion.
Oh, it is.
Called Count on Us, that talks about fighting to be free and for what is right. So, yeah.
No, they do talk about fighting for what's right.
But
you gotta fight. They say the word fight about 800 times in that song.
They do. And so then.
But that song is life too, though.
It is. I love it.
Like,
I love it.
The song that song at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So then,
is
Ryan,
that? I hate to keep interrupting. I feel like I just keep interrupting
good.
you, but I have to ask you really fast. This is awful. I feel like I'm like the worst right now with you.
You're good.
Is Count on Us? Just give me a gut. Give me a gut right now. Is Count on Us the best song off Coots? Give me the gut.
Yeah.
Binary. Yes. No.
It's tied. It's got to be tied with Pizza Power. That and Pizza Power. They're probably.
Really?
Dude, I sing both of those probably equally.
No. I guess
up in a glass bowl, chameleon says it's in 10.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying. All right, this isn't catchy. Like, this isn't like a catchy. Like, which one's like iconic or catchy?
Okay.
I'm talking about like just when your gut says like, is Count on Us the best song on Coots?
I think so.
Like, I guess your answer is no.
Well.
Oh, it is.
If you're taking the catchiness out of it, and then I start thinking about like the actual songs, drums, placement, all this stuff.
Like, the chords, the feeling of it, like just when you hear it, what you think and feel.
I'd say, yeah. I'd say it is.
I would agree. I I saw your notes for this, and you said they performed one of the best songs in history. I was like, I'm just going to agree. When he says that, I'm just going to agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that, like, Count on Us is badass.
Right.
Like,
it is.
It's just badass.
Yeah. And
that's all. I'm just going to let you go now.
Okay, but I agree. I stand in solidarity with that song. So, yeah, and apparently Oprah did too, so much so that she continued the interview.
She did.
And after the song and commercial break, Oprah introduces the Turtle special friend, Ryan, April O'Neil.
Oh,
and
now I gotta pause you right there,
right?
Because I was checking out the chat. You know what I'm saying? We're live here. Check out the chat.
We are.
And your boy Bradley Payne is watching.
Yeah.
And your boy Bradley said, "Oh dang, Sherry Renee Scott, my Broadway musical heart is melting."
Yeah.
So
she's
like,
got a lot
of
stuff on her resume.
I need to have a real discussion with Brad about Sherry Renee Scott.
Right.
Because I feel like I didn't know that connection was happening.
Oh yeah, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the article that I referenced about that Francisco posted in the group, I think it talks about her a little bit. And yeah, I got the impression that there's a lot more, or it could have been when I was trying to figure out her real name. I can't remember. One of the two, one way or the other. That she's got a lot. She's done a lot, and so that's really rad. And I was always impressed with her performances and how she handled herself, especially on this on this show. So, yeah,
she has to try so hard.
And this is the
beginning.
Is
such an awkward spot they had her into.
It
like that's what you always know. Is like anytime I gotta criticize like the stare up just above Oprah's head and like pray, when's this gonna end? It's obvious it's not her skill. It's the fact that like her situation's awful because like the turtles won't stop talking.
Right.
They won't let her say anything.
She hits them.
And she is there. Yeah, no, she does. She hits them several times.
Yeah.
And they just like pat her hand. Like they're like, "Thanks for hitting me. I'll pet you and still keep interrupting you." Like they don't ever stop.
Right.
And the problem is that like she has her point she's got to hit. Yeah. She has to hit how the show is about fighting and about music and not fighting. She has to hit the fact that like the Turtles like are their own band and that they're like doing their thing and that they're out of the sewer. You can tell she has to hit these points, but the Turtles like they won't let her do it.
Right.
Like I would not be surprised if Scott walked off set every time like I could quit tomorrow.
Right.
If someone won't give me an actual opening to say the shit I'm supposed to say, it's going to destroy me.
Right.
Like I can't even talk. And then next time they go on Regis, it's like, "Hey, dude, yeah, what's up?" And she's like, "Ah," you know. Like, anyway. Well, anyway, if our mic still had switches, I would turn mine off right now.
Oh, that's bringing it back. That's old school.
I'm gonna bring back Classy Predator.
Oh,
he has something to say.
I don't know if he's here. If you can hear him.
Yes. Maybe you can't. On the podcast, you can. And he told me to shut up.
Oh, there you go. Classy Predator. Thanks, Classy Predator. The one thing that Classy Predator, that's probably why he would never be on Oprah, unlike these classy people, because they'd never say shut up. April does not tell the Turtles to shut up. She uses subtle violence, like we said, with her hand to shush those turtles. And so this is April O'Neil, the Turtle special friend. And Oprah, she starts asking, what does April do on the road with the Turtles? And I love this so much because Oprah's in the crowd, and the crowd is filled with parents and kids, and there's this dude.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that the camera got this dude.
Oh,
this dude, and I could be projecting. I could be putting this on here, but this dude is like, the looks on his face, like when Oprah's asking these questions, he did not know he knew he was there for a good time, didn't know how good of a time he was going to get. And I love it.
That dude has the most expressive face.
Oh yeah, I love it.
He's one of those people that with a very expressive face, and I love that in people.
Yes, it makes this like 10 times
That's one
better.
of my favorite things, and he has the best face. He's just like, you could tell like what's on his mind is on his face at every moment.
So Oprah asks, what does she do on the road with the Turtles? And April's response is a lot. She says, just a lot. All she really gets to say, though, is that that she basically checks out the sewer system of each city to make sure they're up to par for them, and then gives concert updates. She later goes on, and I don't know if I mentioned this in the show notes or not, but she later goes on to talk about how she interviews the kids and does a couple other things. But anyway, Oprah then says, well, I've been hearing you've been having some trouble with Shredder, and like that he's been showing up at some of the dates. And then this gem shows up. I love this guy. I think
that is full like Coots opening day wardrobe.
Yes.
Like he didn't skimp it.
No,
that's his full rig.
Right.
Like from Coots. I love that. Like the outfit's so massive. Like it's so much to put on.
It is.
And I love it.
And I love it because it's not really they didn't try too hard to make it Shredder, but like it's just enough to where this could be a version of Shredder. You know, it's not trying to be the cartoon. It's not trying to be the comic, but it's its own thing. But it's good enough to where it's like, oh, okay, I can believe that. Yeah, it's fantastic. And he shows up and he's just like all over the place, just like, well, not really, like literally he's just in one place, but he's very like just owning, like chewing the scenery there. And he he basically says that he shows up to a bunch of boos, like just people are just booing like crazy. And the even Oprah gets in on it too, which I'm like, if Oprah booed me, I'd probably just quit life. But he claims that he will
very true.
He claims that he will follow them all over the country to destroy their totally tepid turtle tunes. And he just leaves. And the turtles claim that he's jealous of their music. And I get that. I understand.
And I love that like Raph has to be held back by the other turtles from running up there and beating his ass like 3 times.
Right.
Because it's not worth fighting.
It's not.
Like,
and
don't fight. But Raph does struggle with that mission statement.
Indeed, because you got to remember, Raphael's dealing with a lot of emotional distress right now because him and Oprah, whatever happened between them, and so he's looking to take out that aggression on anybody that he can.
So this is a great frame. Really fast, I want to set you up. This is a great frame. Number one, to show this. Not for sure isn't the best for it, but if you're watching the show, look in the background and just count the number of kids to adults, and you'll understand what we're saying about like they're 2 to 1 kids to adults, easy.
Yeah.
But also in the upper left-hand frame, a thing that may terrify you is an adult woman dressed with a complete face mask of a turtle.
Yes.
This woman appears randomly in the background of this entire video and disturbed me to my core at all times.
Did she?
But don't worry, baby bird, Oprah's going to feed you.
Oh, yeah. And so will we.
But so if you're watching these images, watch out for the creepy woman back there.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out.
So, so then Oprah, she asked what is I jumped ahead. So yeah, no. This is right.
You got it.
Sorry, I got it. I thought I was talking. I thought my notes got messed up, but no, we're here. Oprah asked what is arguably the biggest takeaway from this entire interview. She asked April if she likes any one of the turtles more than the other, or if there is anything romantic going on. And your boy that's right there in the bottom left-hand corner is just like, yeah, I want to know 100% the answer to this question. Like, he's like, I didn't think I was going to be invested.
He's
but
like,
here,
I came here to bring my daughter to see the turtles.
Right.
But now that you have asked if this woman would like to screw one of those turtles, I am 100% here for the resolution of this. I do not care what else happens today. My daughter can say, Dad, I'm sick and I want to leave. I would be like, stay your ass in the chair. Right. I'm going to check out what happens here.
Right.
He is 100% here for this conversation today. Like, and that is my God, it's like so, it is so good.
Yeah.
It is so good.
And if you don't want to watch the entire episode that we're recording right now, you can find our teaser for this episode where I showcase his face quite a bit. So that's what she says. Like, seriously, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, and you know, I just didn't think we'd be here.
I wonder how much of this was arranged beforehand. Like, I wonder how rogue this question was.
It feels rogue.
Like in actuality, this is no director's cut joking.
Right.
These interactions always really interest me because a lot of these things, as you guys probably are aware, are very orchestrated. When you have like two massive like IPs or two massive like properties coming together, they check out, like they make sure they understand what the other one's going to do and that if this little marriage is going to work.
Right.
So this question does not feel like it was like a question that they knew was going to be asked. This does not feel like they knew it.
This does not.
I think literally Oprah had like a slot for like freestyle question here.
Right.
And she went with that.
She did. And which makes you think that Oprah really wants to know this question. So then Ryan,
she's got eyes for a turtle, so she's trying to figure it out.
See? She's looking out because she's thinking she's going to be having a long distance relationship with Donatello, and this is a woman that's going to be with him on this long distance relationship. She's trying to fill her out. So then Michelangelo does something which I'm pretty sure gave Oprah a little bit of hope because she realized that it might be between Mikey and her, between Mikey and April. I'm sorry. And Mikey does this thing where he reaches behind him because April's in the middle of all four turtles. So you have Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello. April's in the middle behind them. And
standing over them and never given her own chair.
Precisely.
BT Dubs. Just so you know, that's also awkward.
That is.
Like, it gets more awkward as it goes.
It does. And this is another part where it's very awkward. So Michelangelo reaches behind him and he kind of caresses underneath her chin with his fingers like she's a cat or something.
Like one would a cat.
Yeah, and she she plays it off like a champ, and she's like ha 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 ha, and just kind of moves his hand. And I believe that you can hear he says, "Tell her about us." Tell her about us. That's what Michelangelo says on the Oprah Winfrey Show about his relationship with April O'Neil.
He's like, I was drunk and then you didn't ask me permission, but okay. But anyway, Oprah, anyway.
So
I mean, let's be honest. If there was a turtle going to run that plan, it's Mikey. Hate to say
it is. So April pivots and saves the awkward situation by saying that they're good guys and friends, and the more you get to know them, the better they are. Well, Oprah asks if they wish that she was a turtle. She doubles down, Ryan. She doubles down. April's trying to get out of this, and Oprah's like, "Nah, lady, we're gonna stay here we're gonna percolate on this." And your boy is gleefully just in it to win it. He is down there like ear to ear, just grinning. And yeah, so
I love it.
Do you wish that she was a turtle? That's what Oprah says. Then Raphael says, I forget which one says it. If Mikey or Raph say it, but one of them say that that actually works for me. But then Raphael definitely admits that he's been trying to talk her into an interspecies relationship for months now.
Oh yeah. No. Yep. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That got real fast. And,
it did.
And Oprah's like, oh, and Oprah rolls with it. She's like, okay. All right. I see. Okay. But then the next thing happens.
But then Michelangelo chimes in. And this is where it gets weird. Now, by weird I mean if two they're teenagers, but let's just for all intents and purposes say that they're adults. And two consenting people, let's say they're 18. So two consenting people, regardless of species, race, whatever, if they want to have a relationship, that's fine. But when you start bringing another person in, do what you will, not shaming anybody. However, when it's their brother, it's a little weird. But
interspecies is technically illegal in a lot of parts of the world. Though.
But this is where we get, Ryan. We still don't know if these are the real turtles. Are they people in the turtle costume? Are they the turtles for the cartoon dressed differently? We have a lot of questions we still have to answer. And to be honest,
are you talking about costumes?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Are you trying to say that these are actors in costumes?
It could
be.
I'm putting the possibility out there because of the weird answers we've received about Splinter. They don't really seem to know Splinter.
I found another thing apparently besides Anna Nicole Smith that I can't take criticism on.
Yeah.
Don't talk about them being fake turtles in costumes. Those are the turtles.
Okay. I'm not. We're going to move on.
Just be
careful
about what you say next.
I'll be very careful because I'm just going to talk about. We didn't say what Michelangelo
talk
said.
about what
Michelangelo says.
Okay. Michelangelo says
the biggest problem is that she, meaning April, can't hold her breath long enough for them to be in an interspecies relationship. Yeah, so your kids are in the audience. Oprah, who is an adult that you is a trusted name by this point, she asks your kids' heroes, do y'all want to have relationships with one another? And the answer is yes, but she physically cannot do it. And yeah, that's what
I mean that add-on from Mikey is a bit of a speculation, and I think that while I think it always sounded bad. I think that like when that actually like happened in the year of our Lord 1990, that someone watching on TV went, let's talk about something else. But I think that what Mikey, what he meant innocently was that she's not an amphibian.
Understandably,
so, like, they can't be in a relationship because turtles like swim around in the water and go underwater all the time, and like April's just a human. She's just a person. You know,
right.
That's not for her to determine.
However, I will argue that based on the 9 seasons that we've watched of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the amount of time that they've actually been submersed in water is like
is
nothing.
No time.
So the turtles
have spent more time submersed in the water in the dangerous the electrifying seaweed section of the first TMNT game than they've spent underwater in any other property.
Indeed.
Or any other incarnation of the property, correct.
Right. So Oprah then tries to go to a commercial, but April stops her to say that she loves how they're not black or white, but that they are green. That was not what? Did I do it weird? Did I do it weird?
No, you didn't. No. Go ahead. Go with the quote.
I was just going to say, they're not black, they're not white, but green. Nope. So they can identify with all kids because of that. What? Like, I understand the sentiment she's trying to
You had the actual balls to say that on Oprah. You had the balls to take Oprah Winfrey. Not granted, it's 1990. We don't know that she's going to become, basically one of the 3 most powerful people in the world. We don't understand that yet.
Right.
But she's already massively huge.
Yes.
And she's a black woman. But we have the balls to say that to her.
Yeah.
When she's trying to go on a commercial break.
You interrupt her. Yes, to say that to her.
You interrupt a black woman on her own show. Like, we're going to take a commercial break. You're like, excuse me, I'm white. And she's like, well, then I guess I have to let you speak. And she's like, I just wanted to say that the best thing about the turtles is they're not your color. And I guess they're also not my color. But they're a different color that supersedes your color. Right. And now everyone likes them more.
Yeah. So,
and it's one of those things that at the time, one thing we have to remember, I mean, obviously when you're just like, Jesus, like, I just can't believe that. But at the time, there was a popular thing to say, and I'm sure you remember it, which was the old chestnut of the, I don't care if you're black, white, purple, or green. You remember like that used to be a thing?
Yeah.
We used to say all the time?
Yeah.
I don't see color. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like color, I don't see color.
Right.
That's basically, April tries to throw in an I don't see color real fast. Which Oprah is made to acknowledge. Like, she's made to go, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Commercial break.
Yeah.
But I love it. There's something about like the whitest woman on earth saying that on the Oprah Winfrey Show that is about as 1990 as you could possibly get.
Right. Yeah. It's a little strange. It doesn't ring quite right. But she could be retaliating, which I don't justify. but she could be retaliating against that question. That she's like, oh, you're gonna throw the I'm interracial species thing. Well, here's a little bit of a race thing, and it's like, and I don't want to put that on April, but I'm just saying,
I didn't
dude.
See it like
I think there's.
I didn't see it like that, but
I think there's a lot more here than what we're scratching this under the shell. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we got a lot more to go through. So we're getting there.
Good thing they're out of those shells. You know what I'm saying? Like,
good thing. So third song. Now they come back and they do after the commercial finally, and they do Walk Straight. After the song, the Turtles talk about the message behind Walk Straight, which is don't do what people want you to do, or something like that, and be cool, be yourself. That's as straight up as it gets. Yeah. And yeah. So then,
hey man, don't do anything people tell you to. Don't conform, but also conform all the way. You know what I mean? Conform all the way. Don't be weird. But don't do drugs. But be yourself. But be normal.
Right. So
be yourself, but be typical, like prototypical.
Right. So
also, there's a moment really fast. I just have to say when they get done with the song, where Oprah goes, she literally says something like, "Okay, so we're back. We're talking to turtles. That's what we're doing."
Yeah,
she says that. I'm like,
yeah,
like where she's like, "We're back." I just had like a weird moment where I floated out of my own body and realized that I have the TMNT here. So this is what we're talking about today. It's like, all right.
So. So then this is where the kids' questions come in, and I was probably most looking forward to this throughout the entire thing. Like I was like, I'm really anxious to see what this is gonna bring about. And so the first question is, where is your bed? These
are questions from the kids.
Yes, these are questions from the kids. The quiz. Oprah's like, who has a question, and she's running around asking the kids, and the kids are like,
"Oh yeah, no, she's very inclusive. Like she tries to get every kid that wants to ask a question.
She's a champ. She's fantastic about this.
She's really good with the kids. I know I keep like knocking her, but like or knocking the situation, but like
right.
She is really laying out like hard to make the kids happy and stuff. It's cool.
Definitely. So their response, dude, you know where we live, the sewer. Now that we're on tour, we have a bus that has a connecting pipe that lets us deposit ourselves into each city's sewer that we go to. I didn't realize that. I was really happy to find that out, that was a thing that they do, and it makes perfect sense. So yeah, so there's that. Then we get the question, who gave you your names? And they respond, everybody knows that. Splinter. We were named after painter dudes. Dudes.
They I'm just gonna say that like they're like off the gut reaction before they explain it to most of these answers.
Yes.
Is like, you should know this. Like there's like, come on.
Yep.
Like, really?
It's bad. It's bad. So
it reminds me of like, you know how the White House press secretary, whenever a journalist asks an obvious question.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while the press secretary will be like, I mean, Josh, you know the answer to that, but
right.
Or they just acknowledge like you asked that as a thing, but that's not a real question. Like that's basically what they do every time. Like they're like, dude, come on now.
Yep.
It was Splinter, bro. It's like, okay.
And it gets worse, Ryan. This is the worst, I think. Who are your mom and dad?
Who are your mom and dad?
Who are your mom and dad? That is a question for the ages. Mikey goes into this thing.
He gets unzipped. You want to talk about us being therapists? Oprah unzips his ass, or this kid. Sorry,
right?
A child unzips him with one question.
Oh, 100%. So Mikey goes down this thing about, y'all ever have dreams? Y'all ever have dreams? I have dreams of being in a bowl with flakes of pet food falling on my head, but I don't know who my mom and dad are. And that's where Mikey stops. Like Mikey's just like, I have dreams about pet food falling on me. I'm in a bowl. Don't know who my mom and dad are. Thanks, kid.
That caption, he says, have dreams. You guys ever have rap dreams at night? That's like killing me. You ever have rap dreams?
See, that's why I watch these things with the captions on, because it's gyms like this.
You ever have rap? Oh man, that's something like, I don't know. Hey man, you ever have rap dreams? And like the other guy does have rap dreams. He's like, yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm visited often by the rap gods of the past. You know what I'm saying? Like Slick Rick and like all these things. Like, yeah, me too, man.
Well, like what if like your mom's like, so how did you become friends with Ryan? Well, we bonded over rap dreams. You know, we had rap dreams, and that's just.
You ever have rap dreams?
Yeah.
But in this, Mikey goes, y'all ever have dreams? I have dreams of when I'm little, but I don't know who my mom and dad are.
Yeah, and then your boy.
Next question.
Your boy Raph. Oh no, we're not done. Your boy Raph.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. I got to get it right.
Get it right.
Like he says, oh wait, no. This isn't even the one. I got ahead of myself. I thought this was the big question. It gets worse. So Raph says when we first got booked for this show, we thought we were going to be on an amphibian orphans episode, and that was a little like, what? Okay, but we're not done with parent talk yet. We'll be back. So then we get where are your weapons, and April like she responds.
She covers in real fast.
Yeah, she responds with the reason for the tour is that the Turtles decided to put down their weapons and pick up instruments, which is kind of how we became musicians as well. And then some kid asks, "Has anyone ever caught you in the sewers?" Which is a question you'd never want to answer. They say that they have groupies that follow them and have to have security down in the sewer, which seems strange. We get the typical "What's your favorite pizza?" And this is where your boys come in with.
I will not be bought by any sponsor. You know what I'm saying?
No, but they will.
Yeah,
they come in with Pizza Hut, like it's in our contract. And let's see. Raph responds with pepperoni and jelly beans, Mikey peanut butter and tuna fish. We get how old are you guys? They say 14, 15 and a half human years. One that you normally ask every band, like every time we're in a question answer thing and Ryan's there, first question Ryan asks, same thing this girl asked, who's the coolest guy? Who's the coolest guy? And
it's a hell of a trick question because
it is.
If they answer anything other than I am,
right,
I pull out my driver's license and I pull out my prehensile member. And I get on the top of the table and I do like a little like maraca dance.
Oh my Lord!
And by the time you're done seeing like the waves and the motion in the ocean, you'll agree that I'm the coolest guy.
Right, but what does your license have to do with anything?
So they see my last name's Guy.
Oh, I did not
you
put
understand?
those. I get it now.
I flipped the license to him first.
Yes.
You act like you have not seen me do this. Like literally, you're gonna bring up me at the band question and answer session and act like you didn't see this at least once. I flipped them the license. They read Ryan Phillip Guy.
Yeah.
And they have a look on their face, and I can tell whether they're gonna go, oh shit, this guy's last name's actually Guy. I mean, obviously you're the coolest guy because your last name's Guy. Awesome. If that's then I don't need to pull out the stuff.
Okay.
But if the guy goes like, okay, yeah, I guess. I'm like, you need the motion in the ocean then.
No, I remember I was just putting on for those who don't know.
You were disassociating this time like you disassociated the last time I did it.
Precisely.
You went back to child Eric.
I went back to my rap dreams.
You went back to rap dreams, Eric, because you couldn't handle what was going on. Like
I couldn't.
You weren't yourself for days.
Right. Well, speaking of being yourself, the Turtles are true to themselves, and they say Splinter's the coolest guy, which, word up. Then
that was a makeup.
Yeah. So
that was a makeup for the first time they acted like he wasn't.
Oh, 100%, definitely. Then someone asks, if you don't have your weapons, how do you fight somebody? And then they say,
I love the kids are hitting them on these weapons, man. I love it.
I am there for that.
I love it. I love it.
Mikey, no, Raphael says, make friends, don't fight unless you have to fight, and then only if you have to, is basically what he says. Someone asks, is it dark in the sewers? And they respond, if you don't pay your bills. Oprah chimes in at this point. Oprah chimes in and says, do you have different vision than normal humans? And I
like that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she was trying to bail the kid out. Because
the
kid's like, is it dark in the sewers? And the Turtles did. I mean, of course. And then Raph's like, if you don't pay your bills, like Rodney Dangerfield.
Right. Yeah,
and all the adults are like, that's right, stupid kid. And then the kid's blown out. He's like, well, I guess that was a dumb question. So then Oprah like still has a hold of this kid and then bails him out. Like, well, no, like, is your guys' vision different? Like, do you see the sewers different than like we would? You know, trying to bail the kid out because it's obviously what the kid was asking.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Is it dark down there for you guys? But yeah, she's trying to bail this kid out because all the adults, like, that guy with the expressive face was like, pfft.
Right.
If my kid said that, you know what I mean? Like, you know?
Oh yeah, totally. That's exactly what she was trying to do. But they respond with no, but we are nuclear, which is
yes,
strange for that phrasing. They're nuclear mutants, so our senses are heightened. And so then and then when she asked, do you have different visions? I want to do an impression of what Donnie did. Oh, okay, yeah.
Like Donnie looks at her like that.
What?
And I'm like that's freaky as shit. And then something I was watching that I was doing like a second little watch through at the office today.
Yeah.
And like somebody came in, I had to pause it, and it paused on that, and it scared the shit out of me when I came back.
Well, yeah. Well, see what that was. I think most guys probably can speak to this. Is that you think you're trying to be cute and funny when you're flirting with like your crush or someone that you're just starting to date.
Yeah.
And it's something that is like.
Oh, and Duffy.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's that thing. Like I remember one thing I said to a girl one time, and it was like I was just trying to riff and just be funny, and she had left a bottle like of Mountain Dew in my car, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'm just gonna use it to clone you, and not realizing like how freaky that is to somebody to hear that. Now, granted, I can't clone anybody back then, but still, it's one of those things that you say, and as soon as it comes out of your mouth, you're like, oh, that didn't come off the way that flirting. But I think Donatello's pushing that flirt card where he's trying to do that, and it's I don't know if it worked or not, but we'll see at the end of the video if it did or not.
Did you explain to her that the only reason you'd clone her is because you've had a lifelong obsession with and twins?
No, I didn't.
That was like very formative to your like
it
overall,
was
like sexuality and like all this stuff to you and twins.
Right,
so it's got to be like that. Like
that's that
or
commercial,
you don't
right?
Fully like
yeah.
It's just like the worst commercial ever made. But like that, like you can't like fully like, you know.
Yeah. So
you can't fully like.
Right. Yeah.
Unless it's and twins.
6 to 9. So 6 to 9, like the.
What 6 to like?
I was like, wait, that T wasn't really enunciated.
6 to 6:30 or like
something like that. Yeah, it has to be and twins. Oh my lord, goodness, we're off the rails here.
God,
no.
That wasn't even that funny.
It's okay, but no, it was fine.
You don't have to apologize for me.
You brought up something that I didn't mention in my notes, but you talk about that there's a kid that says something about I've got your toys or something, and
it's really cool. Yeah, so he says like so you can tell this kid's like very freaked out. Like most of these kids are very freaked, like to get into like Oprah's microphone and talk to the turtles. Like they take a little bit of like, come on, you can do it a little bit. This kid like gets blown out. I don't know if he had a thing to say, but he's like, oh no, sorry, it's the same kid that asked about like, is it dark in the sewer, right? And like everyone made fun of him and shit. Then Oprah bailed him out, and she gave him like another shot, and he just looks and goes like, I have your toys. Which is something kids would absolutely say.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not a question. It's a statement. I just want you to know I have your toys. Which is really cool. The turtles go, oh, cool. And then Mikey says, man, you made our friend Mark really happy.
Right.
That's a shout out to Mark Friedman from Surge Licensing, who handled all the merchandise and stuff for the IP at the time. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because I guess like these guys have a direct relationship with Mark Friedman. I mean, they would, right? Like being the actors that are like going out representing the turtles. Mm-hmm. But it's such a really cool, like it's a weird shout out to like the man behind like, so Mark Friedman, as of like a handful of years ago, was still an advisor to Viacom about the turtles. He still works with how the turtles are like brought to you. Like it advises on this, and he's a consultant. Like so Mark Friedman's the guy behind like this wave of like the turtles really being everywhere. It's like Mark Friedman's like plan.
And it's super weird that they would
that they gave the big shout out to Mark was super cool. I thought that was really neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Moving along real quickly here. Oprah says, "What's your favorite product?" With the licensing on it, or likeness, I should say. Mikey says, "The Platinum Album." Does water get into the sewers? Answer is yes. Kid says he has their soundtrack, and they ask if he digs it, and the kid says, "Nah, I don't dig it. I don't like it." And Mikey tells the kid to go get a grip on himself.
That kid is a straight up G. That kid is awesome because that kid like seriously should have like the old school, like, you know, like where they're like the Dr. Dre starts and like the little sunglasses and the spliff go in his mouth, like the gangsta stuff. Like that's what that's what it should be, because this kid goes, "I have your album." That's a statement.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, oh yeah. Like after 5 minutes later, "What do you think of it? Do you like it?" And the kid goes, his face goes,
"Nah."
Like that. And I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I was there for that kid. He's a straight up G.
Yeah,
I love it. He set them up to get wrecked. It was so good.
Absolutely. And so then we get, this is what I was thinking about earlier. We get
this is the slapback.
This is the slapback. And this is it. What's so special about Splinter? Asked a child in the audience that is a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mikey, he's a rat and talks, and he taught us ninja skills. Raphael, right, and he's our dad. Okay, well, hold on. He's our dad. What's so special about your dad? Like, what's so special about your dad? Like, are you serious?
Your voice straight up. The Turtles, first of all, I will know.
What's so special about your dad?
It might just be getting late over here for me. I might just be super tired after a long week. But okay, so like, all right. So I will note that this is the third damn time these people have brought up Splinter.
Yeah.
The first time the Turtles tried to play it like I'm let's not get into Splinter, but they made Splinter look like he didn't matter, and I fuck with him. So then Splinter gets brought up again, and they're like, "No, look, like being real, like he's our dad, like he taught us everything we know, like we love that guy. He's the coolest, like he's just like he's awesome, like he's the coolest guy, obviously." Then this kid
besides you,
about what's so
yeah,
what's so special about him?
Yeah.
And Rav says, "What's so special about your dad?"
Homato Raphael says, "What's so special about your dad?" to a child on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
And there is a number of kids that go world star on that. Like there's a number of kids that go like, "Oh shit!" Like there's a number of kids. Like one kid runs away. Like you know he's the one that runs down the block. Like after the David Blaine trick. Like he never comes. Like no one ever sees him again. Like there is a reaction. I'm not joking. You can watch it. There's a subtle reaction in some of the crowd where they realize how bad of a burn that was.
Like
damn, like Raph hit back. What's so special about your dad?
See, here's the thing.
What's so special about your
dad? Why is Raphael so edgy on this? Something going on. Something going on with him and Oprah. I mean,
he may not.
It's still the Oprah thing. There's something.
He might be on the
right.
losing end.
So, how did Splinter teach you how to fight? Mikey says, he learned from Hamato Yoshi. And so,
I thought it was very interesting that they endorsed the Mirage / film origin.
Right.
Like
I did too.
Given the cartoon and given how cartoonish they are, I would not have been surprised to hear them say like, "Oh no, like he was transformed into a rat. You know, he was a man and he was in the Foot Clan."
Right.
Like I'm very surprised actually they went with this.
I am too.
Like even though at the time more parts of the property agreed with Mirage than didn't.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like the comics and the movies say that Splinter was a rat and then became anthropomorphic.
Right.
Only the cartoon said that he was actually Hamato Yoshi.
Right.
But I thought it was remarkable.
It was. It definitely is. So then we get, are you going to sing any more educational movies?
Are you?
They answer back with,
"Are you going to sing any more educational movies?"
I loved it so much. I know it's a kid, and I feel bad making fun of him, but that, like,
Yeah, no, I love that.
are you going to sing any more educational movies? Like, I kind of, that's almost like all your.
You can tell that
Something
girl
Belong to
just
Us.
had that girl had like two thoughts at the same time. It was like, are you going to sing like any more songs, like
Yeah.
educational songs, like today? Like,
Right.
are you going to do another song? But also, are you going to make another movie? And that those came out
They just combine.
at the same time. And
Yeah.
I
So-
just, all I want to do is sing educational movies.
I know, right? Me too. But Oprah is ready to move on to a special message. And so Raphael comes up and says that education is very important to kids. And it's important that they don't start missing class and hanging out with bad dudes. So then, here we go, everybody. Oprah heads over to a lady we've been seeing in the crowd the whole
Yes.
time. She's wearing the Donatello mask that's just the nose and the bandana part. The turtles apparently recognize her because they're like, "Oh, hey, babe," what? And they're saying all like her name and whatever. I didn't catch it, but apparently she won tickets to their concert, and she had to dress like the turtles, eat their cereal, walk backwards down Michigan Avenue, and wear TMNT underwear on her head. And yeah, Oprah's like, why do you love the Turtles so much? Like, why are you such a big Turtles fan? Adult woman that's obviously a Turtles fan.
Yeah.
And then she responds with, like, my kids want to come to see these people, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get my kids these tickets. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I guess Oprah thought
That
she
was the
actually a
era
Turtles fan.
of like, yeah, that was the era of like the really weird and wild radio contests.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Where it wasn't just the fifth caller gets tickets. It was
Right.
like, come to Michigan Avenue and embarrass yourself
Precisely.
for tickets.
So,
It's a whole different era.
Oh, totally. And so Oprah then sidesteps all that, and she moves along. And I'm sorry, she doesn't sidestep anything. She says,
Yeah.
she basically is asking, why do people like you? Why do kids like the
Yeah,
Turtles?
yeah, she flips it like an interviewer would. Why do you think kids like you?
Right. So Mikey says we don't talk down to them, and we're just hanging out. We're kids too. Raph, we're going through the same things they're going through. We can relate. I beg to differ. However, Oprah.
That's a signal to Oprah. Like, Oprah, we just want you to know between the lines that the thing you asked about us having a relationship with an adult woman is actually inappropriate because we're only like 14.
Right. And
Just
the
so you
fact that your advances and the fact that you broke up with me, I'm going through this hard time. And
I didn't have an innate problem with our inappropriate relationship when
Right.
it was our inappropriate relationship. But now that it's about to be something that Chris Hansen should know about
yes.
with my friend,
right.
I have a gigantic problem with the ethics going on.
Yes.
And there might be something about it that might
And
happen
so
about it.
Oprah's trying to, like, she's juking and jiving, trying to get away from this awkwardness. And she's like, all right, let me ask the kids. Let me ask the kids. Why do you love the Turtles so much? And here we go, Ryan. Kid 1.
Top
because
9 reasons. Top 9
top
reasons
9.
why.
Put them up on the board. Let's see them up
Top
on the board.
9.
All right, top 9.
Put 'em on the board.
We polled
Top 9.
We polled 9 kids, and here are the answers.
From 1990 in the audience of this show.
Yes.
On the video.
Yes. So here we go. So kid 1, because they're famous, know how to do moves, and they sing. Kid 2.
Facts, all that.
Yep. Kid 2, because they sing good and they have moves.
Facts.
Kid 3, I watch their cartoons and I like when they fight.
They can't get away from that fighting.
They can't. Kid 4, because they're cool. Kid 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, kid 5, because they're smart. Kid 6, because they're ninjas.
I
Kid
told
7,
you about that. What I tell you about the most
Yep.
important word in TMNT. You know
It's
what
true.
I'm saying to kids?
It's
the
true.
ninja.
Kid 7, I like how they eat pizza. Which, word up. Kid 8,
Like how they
like how
eat
they
it.
actually eat it, or
Like,
they eat
because
it?
they eat it, or like the like how like because like the toppings how they eat it,
Mhm.
or like how they physically like get the
Right.
3 fingers and do the New York fold.
Right.
Like that's how they eat it. It's
So
very strange. I need more. I need to track that adult person down today
Right,
and
and find
figure out
out.
exactly what they meant.
We'll get on that. If anyone knows who that was that asked that, let us know. Hit us up on the
If
hotline.
that was you, just email us.
Yeah, precisely. Kid 8, because they're my friends.
That was
cute.
That was
but-
cute. That kid was really little. That kid was like 4.
Yeah.
And that was actually like the cutest shit. I love that.
Kid 9, because they fight good. Now, does that mean they fight good? Like good forces of good? Or they're good fighters?
Oh.
There's a lot to break
he might
down.
be. Wait a minute. So he might be a Shredder convert.
He might be.
Because Shredder's whole thing in Coots and in Getting Down to Your Town is like trying to tell the kids that the turtles are secretly evil.
Precisely.
And that
And
Shredder's
so-
the good guy.
Yep.
So Shredder's little appearance may have. He might have a little convert.
It might have. So Oprah still kind of
That's your top 9.
Well, I messed up our whole framing of the show by getting my finger being a little too over anxious with clicking. But nevertheless, let's see. Oprah, she fires back to the Turtles saying that's a lot of kids saying that they like their fighting. And yeah, it's kind of strange that oh, there we go. I fixed it. Yeah. So she also mentioned something like saying Ninja Turtles 3 times or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 times, like it makes you feel good. And I'm like, sounds like that lady on the Blue Line video that said saying Cowabunga.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard that it makes
Cowabunga,
you feel
I
good.
love it. I love it. Give me that $20. I love him. I love the word Cowabunga. Can you say
Right.
it again? I want $20. I'm getting out of here.
So
Bye.
yeah, the Turtles respond with that's not who they are anymore. That they're not like fighters. And April posits that they've heard from being on the road that the kids see them as role models who won't judge them and ask themselves, what would the Turtles do in this situation, etc. And yeah, that's okay. So that's the end of the interview, pretty much. Except Oprah asked one last question. Oprah asked, what if there's been anything that they've done that they've got punished for? And
Yeah.
they don't really give an answer. They just kind of say, yeah. Like, yeah, there's been some stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I think Mikey does say something like, "Oh man, like back when I was learning how to fight, like I'd like kick over the bed, and like then I'd have to go in the room and be alone in the sewers and in the dark." Like he
Right.
talks a little bit, and they're like, "Yeah, like we've done enough."
Right. So then, what is possibly, again, we've said it a lot this episode, and I think it was worth it. What is possibly the
It's
biggest
the promise of
takeaway?
the premise.
This is the promise of the premise. The biggest takeaway from this thing. Here we go. You ready for this?
I am.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yeah.
So they come back from commercial. Pizza Power is playing throughout the studio, and everyone's dancing and eating pizza.
Oh yeah.
And here we have now. Look, Ryan, what color are the lights in the background of the video or on the screen?
Oh, besides looking like a set from Star Trek, which I did not appreciate that the lighting structure for Oprah looked like until just now.
Yeah.
Those are purple.
Purple, Ryan.
Those are purple.
What turtle
Who is
is
dancing with? Yes.
with Oprah? That is that is Donatello. Who's left holding the pizza, Ryan?
Oh,
Raphael is holding the pizza. Okay, let me show you
Mr.
another.
Fix It.
Oh,
done
what is
got it.
this?
Oh, Exhibit B.
Exhibit B.
Exhibit B.
Donatello's like, you made me feel uncomfortable. Well, here, I'm going to get a little freaky with you, Oprah. And it gets, it's very, this is,
Oprah is a little bit like, please don't, please don't
Yeah.
touch me like that in front of these people.
it's almost, yeah, it's
And
that,
your boy Raph looks like the kid that like brought the girl to the dance.
yeah, 100%.
That girl
yes.
just started Frenching another dude
Yep.
just now.
Yep.
Like at this very moment, this is live developing.
Yep.
This is developing
Mhm.
story. More in another 2 minutes when they still are kissing.
Right.
And you are still holding the food you went and got for her from the table, and the drink she asked for, and she's making out with Johnny Football. And you're like,
well, actually, she's kind of got Raphael's kind of got the look of, like he just has been told that out of all your brothers, you kiss the best. Kind of that meme. that's
they said you can't be happy and they said
It's
you can't
sad
be
at the
happy
same
and sad
time.
at the same time.
Yep. And then Oprah's just like amongst the children, and yeah. Oh,
Oh,
who's
it's
she with?
real.
Who is she with again, Ryan? Oh, Donatello.
Oh, who's got his arm around her?
Yep. And there you go, Pizza Power.
I think it's pretty great that Oprah is singing the chorus to Pizza Power during that.
Oh, absolutely.
She's singing Pizza Power. I'm like,
yeah,
that's pretty badass.
I thought so
Also,
too.
another small note I wanted to make on this, because it's one of those things I noticed, but I didn't really put in my notes when it happened. But at one point, after Shredder's come and gone, and they're cutting in between the music segments and the talk show segments. Well, obviously, for the music segments, they have like microphones out there, and they have like fog a little bit, and they have the lights, the purple lights going, different colored
Right.
lights, and they have all that. But then during the interview, they have the chairs out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know that the way that they film those talk shows and stuff, like they don't film them necessarily in order,
Right.
So there's a point I really like that just shows to like some of the technicalities of the way that like the Oprah show is filmed that you might like maybe not get pointed out on a normal like episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious they filmed all the performances at once, and then they filmed all of the talk show interview segments at once, because they didn't change the set back and forth. Like
Right.
commercial break makes you think that they reset the stage, but they rarely do that actually, because they film those beforehand. At one point, Raph, they're talking about the fighting thing maybe, or maybe like why they need to like not fight, and Raph says like, well, I mean, were you guys here when Shredder showed up?
Yeah.
He says that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think with a different inflection, it would have sounded like, I mean, you guys were here, right? Like you saw like how dangerous this guy is.
Yeah.
But that's not what he said. He openly asked like, wait, like, were you the guys that were here when we filmed the other thing?
Yeah.
Like almost like he didn't know if the audience had changed or not. Like they had some
I didn't notice
downtime
that, but yeah.
between like this group of people and the other group of people that were there when they filmed the music part later. And he says that. And that was very interesting. That
Absolutely.
That actor, now once again, this isn't confirmed, but to my theory, I think the actor lost his place a minute.
Oh, it could be.
And I think that he genuinely asked, like, did you guys see when Shredder was here earlier?
Right.
Because like he didn't know if this audience was the same group of kids.
Right. Well, goodness, like, and I don't blame him either, because there was a lot going on in that. And if it's Raphael, he was going through an emotional like roller coaster that episode. So, or this whole
he was
interview.
he was in the tank.
He totally was
Hard.
He totally was. And so yeah, I don't know. I was very impressed with the Oprah interview. I thought it was pretty good. There was a lot to it. Regis and Kathie, it's whatever, but
it's a blip in the last 2 seconds, and Regis is like, I'm a professional, I guess.
Precisely. But this Oprah thing, I think it's very fun. It's worth at least a watch, I think, just to see some of the stuff that we talk about. But yeah, it's interesting, and it's a part of Turtle history, and we've finally covered it. And so I'm kind of happy that that's in the past. Now we can put that.
Yeah.
It's been looming ahead of us, and now we can put it behind. But the thing is, though, the big takeaway is one, like, how cool is what's so cool about your dad, and or special about your dad, and yeah, Raphael, Donatello, and Oprah Winfrey had a thing, and I guess Raphael's wit is what charmed her at first, but then Donatello's reach, that reach is.
Oh, the reach is always the most important.
Yep, the reach will bring it back, if you know what I'm saying.
Let's be honest. I mean, like, all right. So you're looking to settle down potentially into an interspecies relationship. I mean, it's already dodgy. It's like, my God. Like, I mean, it's 1990. I mean, interracial relationships are dangerous.
That's true.
Much less.
Yeah.
So you think about this, and you're like, wow, these are very unaccepting times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get with a turtle. Now, granted, if you're gonna want to own that. Right, like you're not gonna be able to hide that in the dark. That's not fair. It's not fair to you or the turtle. So I mean, like you're gonna come out with it.
Yeah, of course.
Would you rather spend the rest of your life with a dude known for his wit, or a dude known as Mr. Fix-It?
Oh man,
Like,
that's true.
The
Mr.
guy in the
Fix-It.
front row would know it. The guy in the front row of that would know what I mean.
Right.
When I say Mr. Fix-It.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he absolutely knows. Like totally.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I totally do. I
About
totally
fixing
do.
it.
I get it. I get the point you're hitting home.
I'm not talking about the sink.
No, you're talking. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
I'm talking about fixing it.
Yes. Well,
I'm talking about bringing out the pipe wrench and fixing it.
Well, thank you for clearing
Do
that
you
up.
want to be with the witty guy?
Right.
The guy who's like, "Hey, what's going on here? This place looks like a freaking pigsty. What am I raised in a pigsty? What is this, a barn? What are you doing?" Like, or would you rather have the guy who's just like, "Come home early,
Come home early,
Mr. Fix It." Like, who would you rather be with?
Oh man, I don't know. It's a tough call, but I think that reach is going to get you. But guys, hey, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we're wrong. Let us know. You can do that by emailing us at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. And you can send us your emails, your voicemails, and let us know. Do you think, would you go with Mr. Witt or Mr. Fix It? Do you think that Oprah had...
Please do not email us about if you've experimented with interspecies relationships. Not interested.
No, we don't want to know about
I hate
that.
to say it.
We don't want to know about
It's more of a we don't want to have information
that.
that we may have to report to higher authorities.
Right.
I don't want to know that. I don't want any. I don't want to be the guy that does that.
Right. We don't want to be like...
I can't
involved with
Mr.
any of that.
Fix that.
Well, yeah. So there's that, and let us know if you think that if you picked up on the undertones of the relationship between Oprah and Raph and Donnie. We definitely need to know that.
Yeah.
What's cool about your dad? You can let us know about that.
Yeah. What's so special about your dad?
Yeah, and if you
What do
knew
you
any of
think?
these, if you knew any of these kids, let us know. If you did anything crazy to get tickets to anything, like
yes,
I
please,
definitely
yes.
want to know about that.
Please let us know if you did anything crazy to get tickets for
Yes.
on some kind of radio situation.
Whatever. Yeah,
I
let
would
us know
die
about
to
that.
hear that story.
Yeah, we definitely want to know about that.
Yes.
And do you agree with any of the answers? Just let us know what your thoughts are on this. And again, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. Also, you can head to the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow.com, and find all of our episodes and a bunch of other stuff, links to all our bands and everything else we do there. It is up there. And then you can also visit us on the Facebook group, like we mentioned. Just look for Turtle Soup. You'll see us up there. You can also follow us on Instagram, Turtle Soup Show with the underscores between each word. And we're on Apple Music or a podcast, whatever it's called. And you could rate, review, subscribe.
You lost it there at the end.
I did. I kind of
there
lost
at
that
the
one.
end.
Yeah, thanks. And so, but rate, review, subscribe wherever you're listening to us at. We really appreciate it. If you want to go a little bit further, go to YouTube, like, subscribe, and tell your friends that, hey, this podcast where these two dudes talk about the Ninja Turtles is kind of fun. You should watch it for 5 hours, like every Thursday. And that's what we do. Then, if you want to go the extra mile, if you want to go where a few Turtletarians have gone before, you can go to patreon.com. And you can find Turtle Soup's Done Been Making a Podcast. Got a lot of cool stuff up there. It's... I believe next week, when the next month starts, is when we're gonna have the new Patreon at least like going. Like we're gonna have information about it, and but it's definitely gonna start then. So a lot of cool stuff to be checking out in the next couple weeks to see what news gonna be there and what's gonna be changing. But gonna have a lot more information about that coming up in the next couple days. But that's one way you can support the show, and also check the description in the YouTube video. There's some links in there too, and for ways to keep the podcast from being destroyed by the Foot Clan. And again, we sincerely appreciate all of those who have made that decision, and we call you family. So thank you guys. We do. All right. Well, I think that's it. So else time?
Else time.